Hello, everyone. Right. First of all, hi, everyone in chat. How y'all doing? And yeah, no, Callum, try to stay cool. I don't know what part of the world you're from. It's fucking hot out there. So yeah, try and stay cool. But, right. Hello, everyone. How you doing? This was just going to be a stream about, the reveal show in an hour. That's all this was going to be. And then Games Workshop went and, went and did they acted like retards again, okay? As they are wont to do, all right? Games Workshop, like the history of Games Workshop is literally just like, they'll see like the fandom gathering around something and then just blow it up, They'll just nuke it straight from orbit. They did this with old forums. They did this with fan animations. Now they're doing it to Tabletop Simulator. Guess it's time to hate on Goons Workshop again. We're always hating on Games Workshop. Listen. I will be objective. When they do something right, I will praise them for it. The problem is, every time they do something right, they do 5 things wrong. So, yeah. So one looked around, apparently this isn't even the first time. No, it's not. I've been participating in, okay, a little bit of context with me. I play on Tabletop Sim, basically because I don't have access to a hobby store in my area. So I've been involved in Tabletop Sim since basically it, took off, right? Yeah, I've been involved in the Tabletop Sim side of 40K basically since it took off. Essentially, so here's the story of what happened, everyone, all right? So last night, it's like 2 or 3 mods, okay, so let me describe it a little bit. There's 3 main mods for playing Warhammer 40K on Tabletop Simulator. Tabletop Simulator is a game on Steam. It's like $20, and then you can play. It's just a physics sandbox, but it's designed around being able to recreate tabletop games, in the sandbox. And people have modded Warhammer 40K into it. What happened was the 3 big mods for Tabletop Simulator. They've recently switched. I don't know the name of the 2 table mods. They recently, switched table mods onto a new one, but they were basically like the big, it's like a system of like map generation and scoring tracking and dice rolling on a table that you use to set up your game with like your map and all that stuff for playing a 40K game. The other one was called Force.org. Force.org was the giant repository of Warhammer 40K models. And yeah, there were 2 of these table mods and the Force.org mod, which had all the models. And Games Workshop sent a cease and desist to Steam, who in turn had to send a cease and desist, a DMCA. They sent a DMCA to Steam, who sent a DMCA to the mod makers. And the mods were taken off of the workshop.
Squad deploying.
Oh, hey, Kalemank, thank you for the follow. Welcome to Crusade. But, that's what happened. That's basically what happened. Games Workshop forced Steam to take the mods down. As it currently stands, you can still use the mods, but they're no longer distributed through the Steam Workshop for safety reasons. I will not say where. For safety reasons, but they're still available. The cloud still has the files, so it's just a matter of picking up the actual mod files somewhere else. So as it currently stands, the modding community is basically hiding the mods elsewhere, and again, I will not say where, for obvious reasons. But, like I said, it's Games Workshop doing what Games Workshop do, right? fucking over the fans. This is what they do. This is all they know how to do, because Games Workshop does not communicate with its fandom. It does not communicate with its customers. It doesn't know what their customers want, because they never talk to them. They never try to understand them. You have you have mod files under the floorboards, do you not? Yeah, basically, Dragon Ranger. Yeah, basically. Time to connect a Tor instance for entirely legal reasons. Yeah, for acquiring tabletop sim mods. Christ almighty. Games Workshop hates fans. Jesse, I'm gonna put it this way. I don't think they hate their fans. Hate requires knowing them. Hate requires to know and understand something. You don't hate something until you know it and understand it. Games Workshop probably doesn't even know they have fans. They probably think the money just falls out of fucking the ether every time they do things. They don't even know they have a fandom, like, completely honest. Like, I don't joke when I say Games Workshop is around today because Tabletop Simulator carried the game through COVID. Like, unironically, if Warhammer 40K hadn't been translated to Tabletop Sim, not only would it not have got as popular as it did because people were actually able to play it somehow, the game probably would have died during COVID because you literally couldn't play it. You literally couldn't play Warhammer 40K for about 1.5 to 2 years. What happened to Tabletop Sim? The 3 primary mods needed to play it were taken off the Steam Workshop via DMCA by Games Workshop. And like I said, the mods are still available, but, you know, you have to find them, we'll just say. The mod creators have found ways to still distribute the mods. I will not say how, though. For safety reasons. I understand that, like, Seaborn and Ryko and them...
It was not cake. It was cringe, father.
Yeah, it really was. It really was cringe, see that. But, right, I understand Ryko and Seaborn and the other mod makers hate my guts. Like, they've said so themselves. They hate my guts. But I will not do that to them, because I'm going to be the better man in this situation. I'm not going to expose the mods just to spite them. So yeah, like again, the mod creators have straight up said they hate me. So yeah, but I won't do that to them. I'm not going to do that. I think further ahead than my own personal gratification. So I'm not going to go throwing the mod locations around in order to, like, you know, because I don't want the Tabletop Simulator 40K community to have to suffer this again. Like we don't want that. We don't want that. I don't care if the mod makers are cringe. I won't do that to them. Have we started to make predictions yet? Hey, guess what? On that topic, I've got a prediction, everyone. Okay, we are engaging a schizo mode here, and this is entirely based on what happened in the last couple hours, okay? I predict either today with the live stream, or within the next month, before July is out, Games Workshop will announce the digital version of Warhammer 40K Tabletop. That's what I'm predicting. That's what I'm predicting right now. Games Workshop will announce the digital version of Warhammer 40,000 Tabletop, which I also predict they will use as a springboard to move all of their game systems to a digital format. I feel like they're going to announce that either today or soon. Soon as in the next month to 3 months. Like, July,
Faith is our
August.
shield.
I see that. Thank you for the resubscription. Grats on 19 months. I hope you're all right because I predicted it would be a thing 2 years ago, lol. Yeah, no, man, no, listen, man. I have already said Games Workshop wants to get out of tabletop gaming. They want to get out of it, and the reason they want to get out of it, okay, here, again, I'm regurgitating my previous conspiracy theories, but I'm going to regurgitate it like now again, like a good conspiracy theorist does, okay? I fully predict that Games Workshop wants to get out of tabletop gaming. This is a thing they want to do. This is something they want to plan, and you want to know why. Let me tell you why. And other people have pointed this out in other videos, but it's a good thing. You know, I'll go over it the best I can. The reason is that Games Workshop as a company has essentially vertically integrated miniature production as part of the company, right? When they produce minis, it costs them a lot of money, but because they are responsible for all of the, you know, procurement of like the procurement of plastic, the actual production angle in their factories, they make their own minis in their factories, and, you know, the distribution therein, the mini production hits them the least in the pocketbook. But where they do spend a lot of money is in the production of books. Books and cardboard. They do not have that vertically integrated. They have to go to China to get their cardboard. I don't know who prints their books. Like, actually prints their books, like the Black Library novels and the rule books and stuff. I don't know who prints them. It might be Games Workshop themselves, but I don't think so. Because I remember incidents where, say, a lot of Death Guard codexes were lost because a storm hit the boat carrying them and they got dumped into the ocean. So yeah, I don't think they produce their own books, but they definitely don't produce their own cardboard. So what I think is they're actively trying to get out of the necessity of printing rule books. And I think they want to move the miniature portion of it into, like, say, what Gunpla is for Gundam. Not like primarily for gaming, but for model collection. I think that's where they want to go as a company. If they do keep up with gaming, they probably don't want to do rulebooks much anymore. GW was watching what happened at Hasbro D&D, so they know what not to do. Yeah, exactly. They kind of have, you know, they kind of have the grace of watching the other big tabletop gaming company fall flat on its face, so they know what the problems and hurdles are going to be going forward. It will come with its own launcher that requires a GW account and has its own storefront, so Steam can't discount the digital minis. Probably, yeah, probably. I would see them doing that. I mean, all you need to know to figure out like what Games Workshop is going to do is like just follow what they did with Warhammer Plus. Their incredible ability to like fuck up an easy thing, right? Each figure, each weapon, each base will be coded, cost separate for the main Okay, I've seen some people saying it, and personally, I think this is what they're going to do. All right, because I feel like a digital version of 40K is inevitable. I feel like it's inevitable. I feel like the fact they did this is a sign of that. So here's what I think they're going to do. They're going to distribute the game themselves, and I feel like they're going to sell basically each kit as a DLC, right? Like, they're going to sell every single kit as a DLC. Like, it'll come with the options to build a kit in the rules, but they're going to sell the kits as DLC. That's what I think they're going to do. You want a captain for your army? Well, okay, fork over $30, you know? You want a Crusader squad? You know, fork over 60, whatever, you know? I'm not sure whether they'd use the tabletop pricing, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did. Like, I'll just put that out there immediately. You mostly use the figures for collecting anyway because you don't have a local game store. Yeah, exactly. That's what I do. That's why I collect them in. I collect them in to collect because, like I said before, I don't have a local game store. So, yeah. Base game will come with nothing and they will charge you up the ass for the expansions and DLC. I think the other grand fuck up they could do, okay, when it comes to how they're gonna fuck it up, I feel like the other fuck up they could probably do would be making it combat patrol only. You know, you can only run combat patrols, which would be hilarious, like actually hilarious, because nobody would play that. Nobody plays combat patrol anyway. I'm pretty certain it's very rarely played. Hey Nova, how you doing? Hey Salt, you gonna vibe here for a few minutes before you gotta head? Hey, feel free to vibe, man. We like people who vibe. Don't clip that. That sounds really wrong. Right, but okay. Like I said, that's my big prediction right now for you know, the big summer reveals. I think they're gonna reveal that their digital version of 40K Tabletop either today or in the next 3 months. Because I feel like with 11th edition now out, now's the time they're going to do it, because they're going to use 11th edition as their template to launch it, you know, as their rules template. You fully expect them to charge separately? Yeah, I do too. Like I feel like they would, you know, I feel like, okay, so if I were gonna do it, right? If I were gonna make a combat patrol, or if I were gonna make a 40K digital tabletop, what, hold on. I wouldn't be interested in a TTS game from GW if they do if they would do Total War Warhammer 40K Justice. It's just a better version of an IMO. You know what? That's true. I would argue the problem is that I feel like Total War Warhammer 40K will eventually have all of 40K Tabletop on it, all right? The problem is that is a licensed game, which means that it will not be supported forever by Creative Assembly. If Games Workshop wants to obviously have people get into 40K through digital avenues, right? That's why they're doing Total War Warhammer 40K, which is, by the way, one of those things people were like, they'll never do that, right? They'll never do Total War Warhammer 40K. And now here we are with Total War Warhammer 40K on the horizon. Also with Battle Sector, because they keep adding more and more factions to Battle Sector. They took Battle Sector from the previous devs and gave it to a new dev team to keep it going. Just looking at the Battle Sector DLC, if you want to see what Games Workshop would do to a digital tabletop. Yeah, that's another good example. Yeah, Battle Sector. What if Total War Warhammer 40K is the test run? I don't think so. I don't think Games Workshop would... Like I said, I think because Total War Warhammer 40K is ultimately a licensed game, I don't think they're going to use that as their avenue to get tabletop onto digital. I think they will add all the factions, like they did for Total War Warhammer. But I don't think they're going to rely on Total War Warhammer 40K for that, because I think they want to have total control over it, which, as long as it's a licensed product, they won't have. It will always be in the hands of the dev team, and the dev team could fuck it up. Battle Sector's grown massively. Yeah, exactly. That's why I brought Battle Sector up. TTS 40K would be good as a sideline game, but the moment they start to charge you for units the same price as actual physical minis, they would be dead in the water. Yeah, Satellite Cannon, exactly. That's why I don't think they would just replicate. I think even as greedy as GW is, I think they're aware they couldn't replicate tabletop pricing for digital tabletop, because there's no way they could sell it, right? There is no way. Now, I think they will find ways to fuck it up, like I said. I think what they're going to do, okay, hopeful prediction. They're going to release it. Baseline, it will be Combat Patrol. Baseline, it will just be Combat Patrol. And I feel like they will probably, you know, they will probably sell, what do you call it? Faction packs, and they will probably sell campaign upgrades. Like, for example, when they come out with something like, say, we saw, you know, the new Armageddon release with new units, they'll probably do something like that. I feel like they are going to try to find ways to nickel and dime people through DLC. Do you think Gladius was an early experiment? No, I don't. I don't think it was, because it was more of a Civilization clone, you know? It's less trying to recreate Tabletop or be an RTS of some kind, or a turn-based tactics game, and it's more trying to be like a Civ clone. Yeah, that's generally what I think they're gonna do with it. I think they're gonna, I think they're gonna rely on new units. They would rely on new units as DLC from a launching point. I think that's what they would do, honestly. And I feel like they're gonna announce it soon. Like I said, as early as potentially today. And the reason being, remember, Games Workshop didn't copyright strike those replica Space Marine helmets until right when they went to announce their own. Remember that? Remember that? I remember that. I remember that. And remember, they went after Tabletop Sims specifically. They have not gone after, like, say, Wahapedia. They have not gone after that. Or Yellow Scribe, which is the, another mod which lets you, translate your, or New Recruit. They haven't gone after New Recruit either. They only went after the Tabletop Sim mods, and only 3 of them. Again, I feel like this is trying to push Tabletop Sim further underground, because remember, the mods aren't gone, they've just gone underground. I feel like this is an attempt to move the mods underground, make them harder to find, and thus Tabletop Sim harder to get into for 40K, so they can push their own thing to the forefront, a digital tabletop. That's what I think is happening. I don't think it has really anything to do with competition with 11th edition. GW really trying to be British Nintendo, and they're not even bound by Japanese copyright law. Yeah, no, really, no, real. GW looking at the Train Sim World DLC list and thinking they're leaving money on the table. Yeah, basically. I mean, look, and okay, and here's the deal here. Do I think GW should have done digital tabletop sooner? Yes, I do. I do. It's an avenue to get people into Warhammer that they basically refuse to explore. But here's the problem, and this cuts back into, like, say, third-party guard armies. Oh, hey, let's just take all the things that bring people into the hobby and take them out back real quick. Yeah, exactly. On a similar topic, the third and final episode of Aeronautica Imperialis came out. I can't wait to see the forced grim derp ending of it, because the writers for the Warhammer Plus animations are fucking garbage. But, like, okay, this cuts into the whole, like, for example, the third-party guard dilemma, where Games Workshop got rid of all the guard armies but Cadians and Krieg. And now every time somebody wants to play Imperial Guard that aren't Cadians and Krieg, they go to, like, say, Victoria Miniatures, or just 3D print their own shit, That's the problem with Warhammer Tabletop in a digital format. It's something they should have done a long time ago, but didn't. And now they have literally free competition they have to fight with. So the only way to fight it is to, like, suppress it. Try and force it underground, force it to be harder to find. Real talk, Tabletop Simulator was a cheap and viable option for people to play the game without having to drive God knows how long to meet with friends. Yeah, no, I know. It's like I said, I don't live near a game store. I don't live near a game store. So, yeah, I play on Tabletop Simulator. I mean, this hasn't killed my ability to do so. I have the links to where the mods are now. This has not killed my ability to play Tabletop Sim. Like, not at all. But you know what? Yeah. It's the fact they're trying to make it harder to do. They know they can't actively take down the models, but they can try to force, you know, the access to the mods deeper and deeper underground, and then push their thing, push their digital tabletop, try to get people to buy into that. You actually do live near a GW shop and never set foot inside because you can't afford anything inside. Yeah, that too. That's also a problem, the pricing. In before her, not a real fan. Okay. No. Listen, on that real quick. People were always like, hey, Bowman, post people, both sides of the Warhammer community were like, post minis, Bohemond. And then I started assembling minis live on stream because I felt like it. And then they were like, oh, he only started assembling minis, buying minis because we shamed him into it. And then it was like, okay, now post your painted minis. And it's like, listen, this is something I want Warhammer fans to know, okay? This is something I want Warhammer fans to know. Warhammer community drama only exists in the Warhammer community. And by the Warhammer community, I mean the same 50 to 60 internet blood sports accounts on Twitter who don't really like Warhammer. They're just in it for the internet blood sports, and Warhammer is their excuse. Just taking the piss. I know, man. Don't worry. I laugh at that shit. That shit's a joke to me, and so are the people who push it. Like the people who push the internet blood sports in the community. They're content for me. That's all they are. They are content for me. You be a fan without setting foot in tabletop? Yeah, exactly. Warhammer 40K is a multimedia franchise. It's not just a tabletop game. And Games Workshop say them themselves. You'd like to play tabletop, but the army you want to build is like $205 for the combat patrol. That's like every combat patrol is in that price range. I'm in America. Our combat patrols are like 100 and the fuck price are our combat patrols actually? I think it's like 170, but I'm bad with numbers. Warhammer 40K. Hold on. Ways to play. Combat patrol. Yeah, it's $170 here in America for combat patrols. You were literally about to play TTS with a buddy of mine from Denmark who was going to teach me 11th edition on a stream. Yeah, like I said, if you go to like the TTS 40K Discord and ask the right people, they can give you the mods. You can still get your hands on them. Yeah, go to the one, let me check Discord real quick to get the server name. Hold on. Oh, wait a minute. One moment. Okay, hold on. So I have one moment, everyone. I'm reading something right now from somebody. So we're talking like I literally checked Discord to get the name of the server to join for Tabletop Sim, and it was in my DMs. I'm literally reading it right now. Hold on. Whack pricing and lack of knowing where I even can go. Wait. Whack pricing and lack of knowing where I even can go near here is an hour drive for me. So yeah, exactly, right? I'm gonna be honest, if Games Workshop wanted to ingratiate themselves with this, they would, you know, they would contact the mod makers or like the community. They'd contact the community figureheads and fucking work with them, you know? Oh, hold on. One moment. Yeah, like I said, a slightly developing situation right now. A slightly developing situation. I'm talking with someone on Discord right at the moment. Why not pull an animation thing like how they reach out to the animators? Well, I mean, in the case of the animators, they literally put a gun to their head and say, hey, you know what? Work for us and we won't sue the shit out of you. That's ultimately, you know, the monkey's paw, right? They'd contact the mod makers and basically at gunpoint force them to, you know, force them to work with them. That would be the downside. Of course, I will say this straight up, the people who make the mods are kind of assholes. Like, they're kind of assholes and ideologically captured. But again, like I said earlier in the stream, I won't be like them and potentially get the community taken down because of their petty bullshit.
Squad deploying.
All right, Shoder Aradine, thank you for the follow. Welcome to Crusade. How you doing? How so? All right, okay. You know what? We've got like a half hour before the main stream starts. Let me get this screen capped. I have to screen cap this. I have to censor it a little bit for stream, and I have to screen cap it, censor it a bit for stream. I have permission to read it out from the person who sent it to me, and I also want to get wait, where did I save that to? Okay, I saved it to my desktop. Good. All right, and I want to get this. I want to get this image too, which I will also have to censor for privacy reasons, because I'm not gonna out anybody. I'm not gonna out anybody. Woke socialist devs and writers make franchises shit. Fan base stops paying for crap. Franchise goes to shit. Yeah, exactly. Actually, hold on. Maybe this would be the better way to do it. Air it all out live on stream. Sorry, I do apologize, everyone, for, you know, dealing with something in the middle of this. Yeah. The shit like this is why I like to go live an hour ahead of time before the reveal show, just in case I gotta manage stuff. Because I do want to talk about what I'm getting in my DMs. The problem is it might require a little more setup than just blasting it. So I kind of want to make it a thing, you know? Like make it a thing I cover specifically. Okay, there we go. There we go. All right. Yep. Okay. Yep. Okay, so this is going to be a thing I talk about at another time. This is going to be a thing I talk about another time. I was confirming with the person I was talking with. Should have given us access to Titan models so we can play apocalypse battles for it. Well, Games Workshop should have done a lot of things. Let's be real here. Here I was going to get a Mark IV box set for the missus, the Combat Patrol. Oh yeah, you mean the new Horus Heresy box? The one they're literally releasing out of the blue because they lost money on Custodes? Yeah, I get that one. Ain't that a joke? Yeah, ain't that a joke? Christ almighty. Like release the female Custodes. They have to underproduce them to you know, in order to, like, you know, actually move some kits. Nobody buys the kits in hobby shops. They short the hobby shops because they didn't produce enough. Because, you know, they underproduced deliberately because they knew they wouldn't sell. Now, and then they had to rush the Mark IV kit out with zero fanfare to try to compensate. Actual fucking clown shoes act by Games Workshop. It's a solid box. I mean, yeah, the Mark IV kit's a solid box. I mean, I'd recommend it for somebody getting into Horus Heresy. It's just that it's what it's on the back of is the problem. Like, what it's on the back of and why they had to rush it into production. To be honest, I sort of had the same issue with Magic. Don't much care to spend a small fortune on a game and got nobody to play with. I mean, I'm going to be honest, Magic is worse than 40K. To collect a viable deck, you have to spend about 3 times as much as a 40K army. I'm waiting for the Tactical Squad box of it because I'm going to use a bunch of them to kit bashing Mark Vs. Yeah, exactly. That's one of those funny things, too, about people who want to play Firstborn in 40K. Like, just use the Horus Heresy kits. It's a perfectly viable option. Basically, everything is covered anyway. Like, all the unit choices except for Phobos and Gravis. Instead of female Custodes, they should have made busty Skaven chicks. Then that would have made bank. At least that goodness is on Etsy and AliExpress. Well, I mean, rat women ain't my thing, but I mean, hey, you know what? I get it. I get it. I'm picking up what you're putting down, you know? You went to Horus Heresy after 9th drop, didn't join 9th. Yeah, and then Horus Heresy made Horus Heresy, what are they on now? 3rd? 4th? And, you know, yeah, that's apparently not so hot either. Listen, this is what they get for letting the Age of Sigmar dev team spread further throughout the company, all right? Can confirm Magic the Gathering is awful and also for lore reasons. Magic the Gathering became a Fortnite with universes beyond. Like new upcoming set is Marvel superheroes. The previous was Spider-Man and Lord of the Rings. Yeah, they did a 40K set too. Well, I mean, Magic the Gathering is dying and fucking, you know, Hasbro knows it because Magic the Gathering is right now literally what's keeping Hasbro above water, right? Like, that's what's keeping Hasbro above water, is Magic the Gathering. It's actually kind of sad. Hasbro is... They're not doing great. They're not doing great right now. Third edition got boned hard. Second edition slapped. Yeah, that's what I heard. Man, I still can't get over the fact they cut, like, almost all of the fucking, they cut almost all of the Sisters of Silence unit options from Horus Heresy 3rd. And then put the female Custodes in, like, that's what people wanted. Like, Jesus my Christ, guy. The constant shouts of, we want more Sisters of Silence, and then they put that fucking mannish-looking creatures in to the Custodes. And gut the Sisters of Silence down to like 5 units. 5 units total. No, 6 units. An HQ, 3 infantry, a transport, and a special character. Like, that's it. That's all they have now. They had like 11 units or something like that in fucking in second edition. What was this about TTS devs getting hijacked? I'm going to be talking about that soon. Trademark. In fact, I think I'm going to maybe I was going to make a video, like a mostly a rant video about how everything the Eldar's fault is the Eldar's fault. I'm going to push that back now. I'm going to push that back and work on this instead. So yeah, I'm going to work on this instead. It's something I want to put out. It's something I think should be talked about. Transformers 1 isn't getting a sequel. My Little Pony Gen 5 didn't stick the other way Gen 4 did, and Nerf is getting their lunch eaten by other dart gun manufacturers with half-length dart blasters. Yeah, pretty much. Like, no, Hasbro is not in a good way right now. They're really not. And Magic the Gathering was, obviously, okay, the reason, and let me tell you something, the reason they had to switch over to the Universes Beyond thing is because Magic the Gathering was beginning to die from its post-COVID boom. It's like its COVID-era boom when people were buying, card games and tabletop games and shit to, like, fill the void because they couldn't leave their houses. It was starting to die off from that, and that's why they started Universe Beyond, to get people who would not buy Magic cards otherwise to buy Magic cards. And now that's dying off because, the whole Fortnite crossover thing is also dying off. The only game that works for is Fortnite. Because Fortnite never had an identity to begin with. That's why they can afford to get away with it. Magic the Gathering had an identity. And they're throwing that identity into the garbage with Universes Beyond. And that's why it's falling off. I had to go angle the AC toward me. It is bloody hot out today. Hasbro got kicked off their own TV channel by Discovery. I was not aware of that, but I'm not aware of the details on that, but if that's true, that's fucking hilarious. Can't we get a Godzilla trading card game? Listen, I love Godzilla, like I really do, but I don't feel like Godzilla would work well for a trading card game. I don't feel like it would. It feels a little too limited in like terms of like character and scope for something like a trading card game. It would be great for a fighting game though. Like, like a fighting game would be absolutely the right move, just because, all the kaiju, they're beating each other up all the time. Listen, Cloud Strife, you must use the One Ring to defeat the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the Green Goblin. Yeah, exactly. Magic the Gathering, I don't pretend, I am no expert on Magic the Gathering's in-universe lore, right? Like, I'm no expert on it, but it had that identity. It was part of the game, and they shit all over with Universes Beyond. And all that does is turn off the people who unironically like Magic the Gathering for Magic the Gathering. Like, seriously. They do have a card game, or tabletop. A Godzilla tabletop? I was unaware of a Godzilla tabletop game existing. When do you think they'll put Titus into Fortnite? I feel like it might be a little inevitable that 40K will show up in Fortnite at some point. I mean, they showed up in Call of Duty. I think they chose Call of Duty first because Call of Duty is a little more air quotes, oriented toward Warhammer in terms of tone, you know, like, you know, guns and shooting and war and grimdark. I think that's why they went with that. You know, just, you know, but I think the Fortnite crossover is basically inevitable at this point. GTA 6 is unironically asking for $100. GTA 6 is going to be the last AAA video game. We are literally in the middle of the great video game crash right now. We are literally in the middle of it. It is happening as we speak. And GTA 6 will be the last AAA video game. It'll be the last and the worst. You're more hyped for the Helldivers 40K thing anyway. Yeah, no, same. Helldivers is going through a let's fix the game arc right now. So hopefully by the time that lands, they'll have ironed out all the shit that was going wrong with, you know, Helldivers again, and it'll be once again worth playing. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. Okay, guys, time to move over. Time to move over. We got the thing. The thing is happening. So, okay, let's get the Yap screen out. I just noticed I still have my I still have my webcam turned on from the last hobby stream. My bad. All right. Uh-oh. Nope, that's my chat. Nope. Nope. Where is that? There we go. Actually, wait, no, let's go to theater mode. Let's go to theater mode real quick. And let's get the background music turned off. There we go. And let's unmute this. Oh, guys, can you hear it? Can you hear the audio issues already? Can you hear that warbly ass audio? You hear that? Oh my God. Okay, I'm muting it again because, you know, we're counting down, but good God, man. Okay, you'd figure with the money they spend taking down large-scale fan communities that bring people together to actually enjoy Warhammer, you'd think at the very least, they could get good audio quality on their streams, but nope. Nope. Hey, God, I don't want to get, I don't want to get, you know, banned and thus, you know, I don't want to get banned and thus, like, you know, knocked off the, knocked off my ability to watch the stream. I still want to make a snarky comment about the tabletop sim in the chat. I'm so unbelievably tempted. You have no, I'm turning off the ability to see the chat before I get tempted and type it in. Burn the audio budget on the legal department, rip. Yeah, basically, Salt, basically. Okay, we'll have their scuffed ass audio on a little bit. You can feel the audio issues coursing through your veins. Oh God, yeah. You know, it's like that moment where you realize you've just ingested poison, except it's bad audio quality, rumbling through your eardrums into your frontal lobe. Hey, Marbo, looks like you're just in time. Hey, how you doing? I find it funny some people call me Marbo, because, you know, I think Sly Marbo, and it's like, listen, I'm not nearly that cool compared to Sly Marbo, okay? I'm just a loser on the internet with a Warhammer hyperfixation. I'm not Sly Marbo. As an audio engineer yourself, this vexes you. I am so sorry, Cardell. I am so sorry. I am so unbelievably sorry. This I can only imagine it's also simple shit to fix and they just suck at it, you know? Like they don't have an actual audio guy. It's someone, it's like someone they pulled, it's like the interns at the Warhammer community website. It's someone they pulled out of Nottingham University who's no idea what the fuck they're doing or what a Warhammer even is. I'm cooler than Adam Something. Well, okay, Super Jesse. In Adam Something's defense, that's not hard. It's not hard to be cooler than Adam Something. Like, I'm like one rung up the ladder above the floor, okay? I don't recall Beaumont ever going, it used to be a redeem of mine, honestly. It used to be one of the Twitch redeems I had. It wasn't one of the ones I brought back, though, when I brought back the 40K theme to my streams. Which again, by the way, part of me getting a new model in upcoming here, I've been getting progress reports from my artist, Miss Sensei. He's doing a bang-up job. Like, legitimately a bang-up job with the new model. Check your resolution in the video and make sure it matches with 1080p advanced. I wouldn't even know where to look for them. It sounds like they fixed it, though. Oh, to answer that question, Sanguinius. Wait a minute. Why are they asking questions about Primarchs? Are they going to list Dorn and then give us a new Rogel Dorn? Or, you know what? Whichever one that is answered, Gilliman. Dorn isn't dead, and you know it. Dorn isn't dead, and you know it. Vulcan literally said Dorn is alive. Miss me with that fucking Dorn is dead shit. Which of the following is not one of Nagash's Mortarks? Archon the Black, Radikar the Beast, Olinder, or Ushoran? Man, I don't know enough of, I don't know enough or care to know enough about Age of Sigmar to answer this correctly. We're getting another tank named after a Primarch for the Guard. That would be funny. Dorn could beat Robo with one hand tied. Yeah, he really could. Dorn lives, stomp, stomp. Yeah, exactly. Grom the Paunch is a famous goblin war boss, perhaps known for his invasion of Ulthuan. What is the name of his standard? That's Old World related right there. They're doing Old World news. Man, it'd be funny if they announce Old World 2nd Edition and is just bringing back old school Warhammer Fantasy to like that part of the timeline. That would be a smart move. Be a smart ass move. Don't believe me. Vulcan heavy tank covered in flamers and meltas. That would be actually kind of cool, I think. That'd be kind of cool. I'd fuck with that. Oh, you were yelling at Games Workshop. Okay. Cardell, I just want you to know, I don't know enough about like how audio and video quality intermix. I just know enough to get videos edited and put out on YouTube. That's literally all I know. Dorn is as alive as Kurz. No, Dorn is more alive than Kurz because Kurz is fucking dead. Literally killed by a Calidus assassin, most bitch-ass death of any Primarch. Old World, bring back Beastmen properly. I mean, they did bring back Beastmen, remember? They literally took them out of Age of Sigmar to put them in Old World. Because they actually sell in Old World, because people actually play Old World versus Age of Sigmar. It's all good. If you want, we can chat sometime about it. It's mainly a Twitch thing. I know, honestly, I'm pretty certain my audio was just fine on Twitch. It's, you know... Wait, they talked about Titans in Horus Heresy. They're going to show off the plastic Warhound. Clip this. They're going to show off the plastic Warhound. Then I can throw it in people's face when I'm right. They should add Digonobs to Old World. Well, they should just bring back Gorka Morka in general. Digonobs are fucking funny. Age of Sugmar D. Yeah, exactly. Age of Sugma. Age of Ligma. Age of Smegmar. All you want is an Ogre's refresh. Man, that would actually be funny if they decide fuck the whole one faction, one game system thing and just like threw it all out and brought back all the old fucking Old World factions that are currently air quotes legends. Age of Soymar? Yeah, that's another good one. Which of the following did not claim its own emperor in the Age of the Three Emperors? You know what? I think they're gonna announce a new edition of Old World. That's what I think they're gonna do. They're gonna announce a new edition of Old World. Because they're asking a lot of very generalist questions about, like, Old World lore. So yeah. They're gonna do it. I think that they're gonna do that. They also brought up Titans, and they brought up Gilliman as a what do you call it? As a Primarch. Remember, something to understand about these questions, they're always related to what they're going to release. Which Imperial organ? The Adeptus Arbites, the Adeptus Astra Telepathica, the Inquisition. It's the Adeptus Astra Telepathic. That's related to Sisters of Silence. That's related to Sisters of Silence. Hey, Megaman, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Plastic Titan would be sick. Listen, they're doing everything else resin in plastic now. I feel like it's inevitable they're going to move their giant fuck-off resin supermodels, like the Titans and the Manta, to plastic. They want to stop using resin because it sucks. Oh, hold on, this'll be a clue. Could this mean more Sisters of Silence? I'm gonna say no, because I feel like Games Workshop hates them on a good day. They'll make fucking an Adeptus Astra Telepathica army with no new Sisters of Silence, like, at all. Okay, they're done with the 20 questions, which means it's starting basically now. They acknowledge your brain exists. Literally fucking, the sky must be falling if they remembered your brain exists. Maybe you can use a plastic mantis as a dinner plate someday.
Hello, everybody, and welcome
here we
to
go.
this very exciting preview. This is the big summer Warhammer preview. I am Adam Troy.
How's the, is it loud enough, everyone? Can you hear him over me?
This is going to be a really cool preview. We've got stuff from loads of different game systems to show you, loads of Warhammer to talk about. We think about 90 minutes of stuff. Is that right?
should run to about that long, depending on how fast we talk and how.
Okay, 90 minutes.
Details.
90 minutes.
For the next hour and a half or so, we're going to fill the air with loads of cool Warhammer things. We've got things to cover from Warhammer 40,000, Warhammer Age of Sigmar, Warhammer the Old World, Warhammer Necromunda, Warhammer Blood Bowl, Warhammer Horus Heresy, and Legions Imperialis.
How's that? How's that?
Warhammer 40,000
Heresy
Guilty.
memes
So,
aren't
loads-
On.
Every single system.
Don't forget the trans activist that got Tabletop Simulator voice chat removed because of transphobic remarks on the Twilight Imperium server.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, first of all, thank you for the $5 super chat. Marine Oliver. Sorry for butchering your name. Don't worry. We're going to get to that soon, trademark, you know?
Obviously, Adam.
Very
But
good.
I did also help write the question, so I did have cheated a bit.
Perfect. I was doing all right myself, and I saw where some people are from. We've got people from Texas. There's people from all around the UK, lot from Europe as well. I saw some France and some Germany. So wherever you are in this global
Heresy memes will always be funny, yes. If you don't like, listen, heresy memes are the indigenous people of the Warhammer fandom. Anyone who doesn't like heresy memes is living on stolen land.
Right now, here in the UK, we are getting burninated. But I have put together everything that was on the Space Marine side of my Armageddon box.
Nice.
Including sort of dark angeling, is that a word?
Why not?
The
Yeah,
models
why not?
with some extra details and back banners and things like that. What about you?
Bit of Eldari, painting some of them. Doing a little bit of Caradrons on my painting table at the moment, and
Did you finish your cog?
I did finish my Cogfort. Yes,
Perfect.
I had a good time with that. I
Actually,
did loads
it
of
was on
hobbies.
Warcom, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Nice. So, meanwhile, the other thing I've been doing to fill a little bit of my hobby time is I've
Okay.
been sort of theory hammering some.
By the way, I want to point out,
Yes.
while they're just rambling,
I saw somebody had
I
made
managed to
really
acquire a
cool
copy
video
of Operation
Damos on there
Imperator.
about how you could use the Fulgurist
I managed to acquire a
detector
copy off of eBay. I'm also probably going to acquire the new Vanguard Vets and Chaplain off of eBay as well for my Black Templars.
Attacking and deep striking in force. That could be really
Yeah, a lot of people doing Warhammer 40,000 army list theorying. at the
Yeah, I've
moment,
been
aren't
caught
they?
up in the wave, I think. What about you?
Yeah, obviously, I've got one list for every single faction in 40k. That
I have no
I've
natural
played
defense
both
against
of the
robot.
games
I
in
Oh,
played
hold on.
one game, one official game
Oh.
of the new edition so far with my Eldar against some Tau.
You are undefeated, retire now.
So far, undefeated.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Gotta love it. Right. So, as we said, we've got loads of things to talk about throughout the course of this preview. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope that you have a nice time. We are going to start off the show by going to the grim darkness of the far future, and we're going to talk about some things for Warhammer
Okay,
40,000.
we're 40k
So,
right
here
off
we
the
are
bat. All right.
With Warhammer 40,000 Armageddon, the launch box for the new edition, sort of out there in the wild, it's worth talking about some of the things that are coming up. And the first thing that we're going to talk about is how new people to Warhammer might get started in the Warhammer 40,000 hobby with some Warhammer 40,000 starter sets. So here is the Warhammer 40,000 starter set. We've got one in the flesh. This is an enormous box and is the perfect way if you've never played Warhammer 40,000 before and want to get started to jump straight into the hobby. Eddie, what can you tell us about it?
Yeah, so we
All
did know
right.
that some of the miniatures from the Warhammer 40,000 Armageddon set would be available in other sets in the future. This is one of the first places you'll be able to get hold of them. So in this, you effectively have a combat patrol of Space Marines, painted as Ultramarines, but you can paint whatever color you want. You've also got a combat patrol of Orcs. You've also got a
this is
battlefield
where
of
they're
Battlefield
debuting the
and
pre-made
effectively
terrain.
Combat patrols worth of battlefield terrain for combat patrol. So like,
Yeah,
They're
absolutely.
debuting
This
the
is
pre-made
essentially
terrain
everything
with
you need
this.
To, get started with your first games of Warhammer 40,000 all in one box. All the models are push fit. The terrain's really easy to put together. It's got the game board and all of the pieces marked out for you to put your terrain on, so you can just play straight out of this box if you want to.
yeah, it's also got all the rules and stuff in there.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got your core rules and then the sort of the guide for using the models that are in the box. So this is the first of the starter products that we're going to talk about right now, but there's more to come. So what if you wanted to get started in Warhammer 40,000, you don't want the 2-player launch set, and you just want maybe a starter set which focuses on one of the factions? Well, this is getting started with Space Marines and is the same combat patrol that you saw in the previous box, and it comes complete with the paints that you would need to do your first paint jobs on these models. I think it's 11 paints in the set, so you can get started right away with the.
That's actually not a bad
and this is
idea.
perfect if you've already
They're
got
going
a
to
game,
charge
they've
through the
already got
fucking
their
nose
set
for
set
it, but
all
it's
up,
not a
you've got
bad
number of
idea.
layers, and what if you want Space Marines, you can grab yourself this set. And
Like, that's
start playing straight
actually
away. This is your
already painted. No,
self-contained
it's
starter
not
set
already
for Space
painted.
Marines.
It will perhaps surprise nobody to know there is an orc equivalent of this.
Yes,
But
this is almost
I'm going to be
exactly the same,
honest.
but
The
green.
problem is,
so you have the
like, these are
combat
good
control for orcs,
ideas,
then
but
you've
the
got a bunch of
problem will
very
be what
cool
it always
paints.
has been, the
So this is a great
price.
little set if you want to kick off. An orc
These are
army.
going to be
Yeah, and I think
stupidly
one of the things
expensive
to
because
note
they
here,
include
you've already said
paint.
it, but if you're just looking to sort of join in with an existing group, or maybe just start one of these armies for the first time and you're already in Warhammer 40,000, this really is a great way to do it because you get the paints you would need to kickstart that painting process too.
Or if you just have an orc army and just want loads more
Just
boys,
want a bunch of
just want
reinforcements.
loads more orcs.
Yeah, no kidding. There's another way to get started as well, which is this introductory set, and I find this one to be quite exciting. You've got some Space Marines and some orcs and some paints, and you can have a gaming experience, but it's really sort of a first steps into the Warhammer 40,000.
It always boils down to the
gaming hobby
price. Yeah,
experience.
exactly.
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything. And the thing that's cool about this to point out is that while the other sets, the miniatures, are the same ones from the Warhammer 40,000 Armageddon set, these ones are brand new miniatures. So you've got 5 intercessors in there. You've got a Space Marine Lieutenant. It's been like a whole week since we had a new Space Marine Lieutenant. So
couldn't have come
had
soon
to
enough.
have one. And then you've got a new unit of Orc Boys. Orc Boys are the same kind of unit as the ones you get in Armageddon, but they've got different.
Oh yeah,
abilities.
like the
And
people who
critically, you've also got
unironically
some heavy
shill
and
for
special weapons.
$100
big shooter
fucking
and the rocket
GTA
launcher,
6.
Absolutely. So if you want to add in some extra shooting into your big orc mobs, you can, and all the characters are kind of new poses as well. So it's quite a cool little set.
I get weirdly excited about all the different poses of intercessors, particularly these sort of push fit ones, to find them easy to build. And so I'm hoping somebody will split that set with me, Eddie. Just hinting. There you go. We're on. Right. There's also
games
some,
shouldn't be,
some paint
right.
sets. This is the paint
My
and
bad.
tool
It's
set.
all right. It's cool, dude.
Synergize perfectly with that Warhammer 40,000 starter set where you get the combat patrols. It's got 13 paints, clippers, mold line removing tool, and a brush. Everything you need to get started with your painting journey. If you've never painted Warhammer models before, this would be a decent pickup.
Yeah, this is a lovely little set. I started with a set a lot like this when I started playing Warhammer. You can paint almost anything with this box because you've got all your primary colors, and then
You can buy a
black and white and
Rogaldorn
your
tank for
metallics and,
GTA 6. Yeah,
really
no
useful little
shit.
tools. So this is just a really solid base for a paint.
Yeah,
collection.
absolutely. If you want one a little more themed towards a particular army, you can start with this, which is very much like the set I started painting with Warhammer, which was an Orcs paint set back in the day. This is Boys and Paints. So you've got 6 paints and a brush and a couple of Orc Boys and a grot. Again, just dip your toe into the.
I was thinking of getting Age of Sigmar Ultimate Starter
There's a space
Set, and
marine
it costs
equivalent.
125 euro.
Paints, again, 6 paints. a brush,
To
and
whopping
2 space marine
170 euro. I think you'll have to pass. Well, I recommend you pass because it's Age of Sigmar, and Age of Sigmar sucks. But you know,
And I think
yeah,
it's a
no,
good
it's
time
really
to, like, introduce
expensive.
Your friends, or you know,
Yeah.
the family member or relative or whatever that you want to like.
It's a
try
really,
and
it's a
convince
really
All right,
good
later,
time to
Salt.
start
Have a good day,
playing
dude.
40,000 because it's a brand new edition out. Everyone's kind of in the same place. Everyone's learning the rules together. This is the perfect time to hop in.
Nice. I love it. So it follows on quite nicely. We're going to talk about some terrain now. So we've got some really interesting terrain kits to point out and talk about. The first is Combat Patrol Battle Zone. So this is all of the terrain.
Yep, here it
you see
is, the
here
pre-made
in a
terrain.
box, along with the game boards and the tiles to the terrain prints to put the terrain on. This is everything you need in one box to play a complete game of Combat Patrol.
Yeah.
You heard Age
And
of
if you
Sigmar is
already
actually
bought
fun.
the starter
Well, the
set,
problem with the
if you
people who
add
say
this
Age of
box
Sigmar
onto
is
the starter
fun
set, you effectively
is that they
have
haven't, they've
full-
convinced themselves
the
it's
full
fun when
worth
it's
of
not.
terrain for something like an incursion or 2,000 point game.
Trust me,
for
it's
Warhammer
absolutely
40,000,
stupid that
or
your
the
opponent can
self-contained
get
set,
2 turns
it
in a
is
row and
the
table
exact
you.
right amount of stuff to play Combat Patrol.
Yeah, and worth pointing out this with this one, this like the models in the starter set are unpainted. So all of these terrain pieces, they come on the grey plastic that you're familiar with, easy to put together, and then you can paint them in the color scheme that suits your board. At home,
Okay,
your
so that's
armies, or whatever you
unpainted
like.
plastic. All right.
This set, Combat Patrol set, comes in around the same price as a Combat Patrol itself.
Perfect. Right. If you want to add more things to it, or you just want to focus on building a terrain board that suits your own preferences, we've got a few little terrain sets to talk about. This is the Manufactorum Ruins, which are those sort of classic building shapes that you often see on battlefields. There's some of these in that Combat Patrol set that we just showed you before. There's more. There's also the galvanic network. This represents these power lines and things that run across the sort of ash wastes of Armageddon, and is a wonderful way to bring some character to your battlefield. And then you've got the capacitor cluster here, which looks like it's writhing with electricity.
Weren't they
And you've got
advertising
like a really
pre-painted
unfortunate
terrain,
service
though?
door trapped in the console at the front.
And they showed off
Nice pretty
these
stuff as well,
items.
is it, 40,000?
It is. It's not the best. Now, all of that is really exciting terrain. All comes unpainted, and is all coming fairly soon down the pipe.
That's
There's
absolutely true.
something else we need to explain to people that you've already talked about a little bit with Aidan on a video before, right?
That's absolutely right. Currently, all the terrain in my collection is Eddie painted. Very
Perfect.
soon, I will be able to also benefit from ready painted terrain. This is the new ready painted Battlefield Armageddon box, and this is everything you need for a full incursion-sized game of Warhammer 40,000 in one box, and all of the terrain in this comes ready painted and ready to go.
There it
The box
is.
is
Okay.
enormous. It is jam-packed with absolutely
I can only
loads of
imagine this is going to cost like
terrain, and we've got one here
$500.
to open. So what we thought we'd do is actually just crack one open and build one of the terrain pieces in it nice and quickly to show you what it's like.
While Adam tells you about it, I'm going to build one of the terrain pieces in here
Great.
to show you how quickly we can
Get
make
clipping, right. So what we've got is some nice pictures to show you while Eddie gets feverishly to work. So here you can see what you're dealing with. Essentially, it is a full battlefield's worth of already painted terrain. Try and talk over the rummaging and crashing of Eddie.
The
set
fact they're
comes
not
with the
showing
game
him
boards that
doing
you
it
need
makes
to
me
have
think
the
they've already
terrain
got it
markers
assembled
so you
off
know
screen.
where
He's just going to
the terrain
grab
is
it.
onto. And obviously,
He's
the
not
terrain
really
is painted
assembling
to
it that
a,
quick.
Ready painted to a
I
brilliant
wasn't
level.
born
So if you're
yesterday.
looking to just clip the things out from the frames, put it together quickly, and start playing a game of Warhammer 40,000 on a battlefield that looks really good. This is a wonderful way to do it. It's going to be enormously.
Ready to sell your
popular with people
firstborn
who,
for that box? Yeah,
like me,
yeah,
I've already got
seriously.
my own terrain board, but
Like
if
I
wanted
said,
to host a game night, I wanted to
$500
maybe
minimum,
free
I
friends
think,
who
is
could,
what
like,
they'll charge
play
for it.
round robin style games. This would enable me to do it.
Because not only are you buying the terrain, you're buying the air quotes convenience of it.
Have a need for a nice looking battlefield quickly are going to find this to be really exciting.
Feel free to hold that one up. if you wanna
Oh, there you
show
go.
people
I'll
the
show you what it looks
details.
like. Here you go. If we get a zoom in on this. So this is a piece directly off of the frame that Eddie has just worked on. And you can see the level of detail. You've got the fantastic glow effects around the sort of the lumens.
I mean, it doesn't
and
look
so on.
bad.
Inside, you can see the
It doesn't
interior
look
detail,
bad.
so within the sort of
The thing that I am still wondering about
walls,
is
you can see
quality.
sort of
Like,
chipped and very nicely done.
like,
sort of corrosion
obviously
quickly down the
their
walls.
example
Really is a
pieces that
very
they're getting
impressive,
here are going to look
piece of terrain.
nice.
Almost there,
What about
almost
the
there.
ones they
So
actually
now we've got
ship
two.
to
Now I'm gonna try and
stores?
put these together
That's
for
what
you.
I'm wondering
I don't
about.
wanna ruin it.
Is it going to look good, or is it going to look like the
Essentially,
paint
just
jobs
for
on
quick, one of the
fucking
things
Hero
we've discovered,
Clicks?
The guys who run our global events are really excited about this because it's going to enable them to put together large battlefields very quickly, and you can also unclip these things when you're ready to and put it back into a relatively
So I think-
small space.
Yeah, the
There
whole
you go.
thing actually. If you leave the kind of floors off, then the whole thing. Oh, I need to clip out those a bit.
We need to do a bit more clipping.
Bit more
There you
clipping.
go.
Tiny bit more clipping. If you take the floors out, the whole thing packs back into the box,
There you go.
pretty much. So that's pretty easy.
Which is nice if you're looking for somewhere.
All right,
to
so it's
store your models.
disassemblable. That's good.
I think we're almost there. Almost there.
Perfect. So one of the things I think that's quite nice about this is I speed painted my entire battlefield, but it took me all of a Saturday to build and then all of a Sunday to speed paint, and it's still not of the same quality as the completion on this. And so you've done the first
Ta-da!
building in what the amount of time it's taken us to talk about this. There we go, moving it around, and it really does look wonderful. You can see the bulkhead.
I mean, yeah, it does look nice, but like I
I
said,
can be more excited.
Yeah,
about
I think
it.
I'm pretty.
The paint
pleased with this. I'm quite
quality
pleased with the effect I've got
in
on
the
some of
actual
glow
release
there as well,
version
and
that
the
stores
dry brushing
get
that
and
we
those
have achieved on
customers.
this.
Credit for all this work.
That's
Yeah,
what
I
I'm
just
wondering
made this, you all
about.
saw it.
That's what I'm concerned about.
Nice.
Also,
So,
the price, as
this is
usual.
on its way later in the year. Will come.
Like I
behind
said,
all of the other
they're going to
stuff
charge
that we've talked about.
$500 minimum for this.
And so you're looking more towards the autumn time or beyond, right?
Yeah, and in terms of price, this one comes in. It has twice as much terrain as the Combat Patrol Battlefield, and it comes in at a little bit more than the cost of 2 Combat Patrols.
There you go. So, yeah, really exciting.
A little bit more than 2 combat
Okay,
patrols.
So, we've talked about all of the starter sets. We've talked about all of the terrain, the ready paint terrain. Very exciting.
200,
I guess we should talk a little bit about the
300.
things that are coming along with the first codex.
400.
Yeah,
That's
we
what I'm
should
predicting.
probably do that.
$400
Time to look at
American.
some orcs.
You want
Okay.
some wheels? Get yourself a truck. I got all the trucks. Big trucks, bigger trucks, the best trucks. They's got all
Okay, new
the
trucks.
gubbins and guns, grabbing claws, rammy bits, shooters, rockets, you name it. Remember, walking is for gigs and grots. Go fast or go home.
Vehicles may explode when fired upon. Safety of transported boys is not guaranteed.
That was fun. It's a good time to be an orc this year, isn't it?
It is. They are getting absolutely spoiled. We can confirm today the first codex is orcs, and alongside the codex, there are a whole bunch of new miniatures. One of the most exciting miniatures on its way is that new truck, And
Okay,
that's
yeah,
the
new
mech that are on
trucks.
their
We
way.
talk about the mech first.
Let's do the mech
Ever
first.
play
So,
Speed
an
Freaks?
orc mech,
I
those of you who
own
know
it,
orcs will
but I
know,
only played it
these
when it
are
was
the
in
mechanics
beta.
that basically put together all of the weird and wonderful
I've been tempted to
creations
try it
that goes to
again.
battle alongside your orcs. They are surprisingly good at
Odd
science.
boys with the
Yeah.
innate knowledge to just make awesome things out of scrap.
Gene-coded, innate, kind of inherited knowledge in terms of how to make things like teleporters and trucks and guns and
I
shooters.
wish I had
and-
those skills.
Yeah,
No,
I
I'd be
mean,
much
you know,
more
if you
useful
apply
around the
yourself, I'm
house.
sure you can do it. But yeah, this is a really cool miniature. It has a kind of really thematic. He's got a kind of spanner clobber thing there. He's got his slugger. But the thing that he really does is kind of bring with him all of the awesome machines that make
Okay,
Orc
new
Guard
mech.
so fun
All
to play
right.
in
Yeah.
Warhammer 40,000.
So with no further ado, let's talk about the truck then, which is maybe the star of that show. This is the new Orc truck. It's an evolution of the classic Orc truck that you know and love. A little bit bigger, a few more options, and is really just wonderful to look at. It comes with a variety of options in terms of weapon mounts. You've got the big shooter, you've got the rocket launcher, you have options for a grabber claw and a buzzsaw, and all of those can be swapped in positions on the top so that you can build different configurations to have some great variety as you're making your trucks.
Yeah, this is a phenomenally cool miniature. Like the current truck is really cool, right?
Absolutely.
The truck that is in current Orc armies is a perfectly good vehicle, but it's
You
been
like
with
the
us for a long
crane?
time,
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
it's been
What,
nice
15
model.
years
something like
more?
that. Yeah, it's been around for a
Wow.
while. This is a beautiful reinvention of it. The thing that really makes this is the fact that you can build it in so many different ways. Where the pintle mount goes, where the close combat weapon goes, how the boys are positioned, what the driver looks like,
Even
what
here
goes
on the screen, you can see the way it looks like it's going around the corner because you can alter the look of the suspension.
Yeah, you can kind of play with where the wheels are, and I think especially if you've gone for a really heavy sort of Evil Sons or Speed Freak style army,
Yeah.
and you want to
Okay.
have a bit of variety in your force, this one kit with no changes at all from what comes in the box can be built enough times that you would never need to replicate what a single truck looks like.
Yeah, so we've got a couple here on the desk. The one I'm most excited by is the one with this awesome looking skull prow at the front. It just looks so like mean and orky. This sort of whole skull motif for the orcs is so iconic. Yeah, really fantastic. Now, what we wanted to do, the reason we brought these along, is so I can sandwich this little guy in
Make some
between them
space in the parking
and
lot
just
there.
show you. If
Ever
you've already
played
got some
Dying
hot
Light?
trucks in
No,
your
I'm
box,
not
how
much of a
nice it is.
zombies
Really
game
nice
kinda
little
guy.
models, Adam.
Have a melty, we'll get you.
I know, right? So
What? Well, okay. It looks like they decided to they forgot to turn off the advertisements on their stream. Brilliant. Brilliant. All right, hold up, everyone. Hold up, everyone. We're gonna need to find another source.
You could replace them completely, or if you want to have a mix, that's absolutely fine. But I think the new ones just bring, they just look great. They've got so many cool options.
Yeah, I agree.
They're going to look phenomenal.
nice. So that's a couple of fantastic brand new kits
Okay, one
coming
moment.
for the orcs. There's more on the way that people might be able to learn about through the progress of the Deathmire.
Yeah,
events.
that's right. So there's lots of Orc stuff still to come.
Okay,
some of the
it's
stuff
up
we're
on
showing you
YouTube
today,
now.
Some of it will be revealed potentially if the Orcs do well in the Siege of Deathmire campaign that's currently running. So if you want to see some more Orcs, play some games, send in your results, and you might get to see some more very, very soon. There are a few other boxes to talk about today, though. We've got the other stuff from Armageddon as well.
Yeah, that's right. So essentially, if you wanted to pick up some of the things from Armageddon or duplicate them, we're going to be releasing the Dakar.
Okay, yeah, there's the new
Boy separately, and also the other.
Yeah,
kits
this
from
is just
Armageddon.
the kits from
So
Armageddon
the
as their
Banner
own
Mob,
thing.
The Big Boss and the Pain Boy will be releasing a Command Crew set as well. So there's a whole bunch of extra stuff to come. We should probably talk a bit about the Codex itself, though, right?
Yes.
So obviously, this is the first Codex of 11th edition, and it heralds something really exciting in terms of a format change for Warhammer 40,000 codexes. So here
Okay.
you can see it's contained in a slipcase, and we've got one live in front of you. So
I
it's
like
a
the cover
perfect
art.
bound book, slightly smaller than the codexes in terms of the height, but it is really thick and is packed with an incredible amount of orky content.
178 pages it is.
Perfect. And the first thing that I would like to just eulogize on is how incredible the lore section for this is. We are talking a really thick lore section, which is everything you would want to know about the orcs and how they operate. It's got a gatefold map, you can see it here, which is the orky perspective on the galaxy, all the places that the orcs are fighting, all the different wars that are taking place. But there's a lot more to it than that. It talks about the orcs, where they come from, how they fight, their culture, the different clan structures. Literally the most complete guide on orcs you could hope for, and perhaps the most information on orcs there's ever been in one place. Every unit gets its own full bestiary
that one.
section, for example. information on the glyphs, information on like what clan icons and things look like.
Hmm.
It's really great. But also, some people might be interested in the rules.
Yeah, so one of the big changes to the rules in this codex versus the previous ones was in the last edition, there was quite a lot of rules in your codex, but quite a lot of them you couldn't use in all the different types of games. So if some of it you could only use in Crusade games, for example, all of the rules in this codex, and there are at least as many rules in this one as there were in the last one, you
Yeah.
can use in every type of game. One of the ways that manifests, you'll immediately notice, is
All right.
the amount of detachments that you get to play with. There are 15 different orc detachments in this codex.
That's loads of ways to use your
Loads of
army,
different ways
right?
to put your army together, ranging from lots of different sizes in terms of detachment points. It gives you a huge variety of different ways that you can potentially put an army together. Some of these you could probably guess at the themes. There are like some fast ones, some stompy ones.
Yeah, the
some
Fly
all
Boys
of-
gives itself away, doesn't
Right,
it?
like so there's some ones you could probably guess at, but there'll be loads of brand new ways that you could put together an orc army that's just never been possible before, and it gives you a sense of what codexes will feel like. in the
Cover
new
art
edition,
reminds you
where
of
they will
4th and
bring this
5th.
huge
Yeah,
variety
it does
of
actually.
list building opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's more to it than just the detachments. Obviously, the rules have been looked at by the Warhammer rules team, and they've come up with some things. This is the army special rule, essentially, isn't it?
Yeah, so war, right? You can't have war, you can't have an orc codex without a war. The war rule has changed a little bit, so there'll be some things that are familiar. There's some slight changes. It still allows you to run and charge, but it now lets you re-roll that run as well. It also lets you have assault.
Can we
on
have
all of your
Imperial
weapons, which are the
Guard
things that you
style
used to do.
blood
So that
axes
means that you've
again?
got for a very shooty army, so like speed freaks, you've got loads of like bikes and buggies and things.
Oh, that would mean
standby
giving
class,
people
yeah, that's
options,
immediately really useful.
Exorn. They don't do that
And
anymore.
it also gives you the riled up ability, which triggers all sorts of things across all the sorts of different bits of the codex, where other units will become more powerful, and you still get that invulnerable save as well to make your.
It's a
orcs-
really great army
It's a
rule, isn't it?
really, really good rule. For one turn of the game, you will have a great turn every single game.
Yeah, and then all of the units within the codex have had their data sheets looked at. So here's the truck that we just showed you before, and you can see what's gone on with it. So you can see the different weapon options and things to give you a sense of what it means for your codex, I suppose.
Yeah, so what you'd expect, it still kind of has a similar-ish stat line to what the truck does at the moment. It is a kind of medium-sized vehicle. The things that you'll notice are that it has more weapon options than it used to. So you've got options there for different combat weapons, different shooting weapons.
Okay, can have the
Piling up
rocket
is quite-
launcher
quite
or
Yeah,
nice.
you've got a really cool little mechanic where
The
if
dual
an enemy
big
unit gets
shooter,
nearby,
the
something like a
buzzsaw,
fire
and the
dragon or,
claw. Okay.
eliminator or something is ready to kind of ready to kill your truck. You can pile the boys out, ready to kind of countercharge or to avoid being caught in the explosion or something like that. It's a really useful little rule that's got some quite neat little tactical plays you can do with it. So I think trucks are going to be very useful.
Yeah, perfect. And then in terms of other data sheets that have been looked at, it'd be worth looking at the Orc Boys, who really have had something of a stat line glow up, it's fair to say.
Yeah, there's a lot going on this data sheet, and I think I would recommend if you've got an orc army, take a screenshot. There's
Yeah,
some cool stuff there.
now is the moment to record this.
There's the first thing you'll notice is there's loads of weapon options. So one of the things we got asked a lot about the Armageddon box was, is that all the options that the orcs will have in the new edition? It absolutely isn't. You've got loads of different choices.
In fact, more than you've had recently.
More
Okay,
than
so-
I think you've ever
so
had
they
for-
have
for an orc
actual
unit. You've got some
options
classic
for,
stuff returning. So
you
you've got
know,
Burner back in this
big
unit
fan
now,
of
the
not
units
having an orc
now.
hit.
which is pretty cool. You've got loads of different options for your boss's weapon. And the thing I want to draw your attention to is almost kind of tucked away right at the bottom of that stat line there is the strength of a basic orc boy is now 5. And that is
Such bad news for
that
Space
is an
Marines.
across the codex update to your orcs. Every single orc is at least strength 5 all of the time now. So that goes for boys. It also goes for your kind of beast snaggers, and all of the things like your knobs and war bosses and everything get a commensurate increase as well. So your already pretty scary orcs get even scarier all the time in close combat.
Fantastic. I
Okay.
think it just looks like a load of great information. I'm really excited
I'm going to
about
have a
this
great
codex.
time with this codex.
Yeah,
I'm going to have a really good time.
And it heralds something really interesting. The last thing to talk about with the codex is obviously in the back of it, it includes the code that you will put into your Warhammer 40,000 app to unlock and access the rules. It does something else on top of that. This is kind of like your passport to ongoing content for your Warhammer 40,000 Orc Codex throughout its lifespan. There will be regular drops of lore and rules so that you can continue to get great stuff out of your codex as the time continues. They've given us a sneak peek into some of the stuff that's coming, and it sounds both really cool and really thematic. So I'm quite excited to see what happens with that And then
Okay, but
I
what
imagine
kind of
all the other
stuff?
codexes that follow.
What
Yeah,
kind of
absolutely.
stuff?
Perfect. So, yeah, the first codex coming down the pipe is Warhammer 40,000 Orcs, and it looks amazing.
Do stick around. We have more Warhammer 40,000 for you later in the preview.
Yes,
as
yeah,
well,
we'll be
so do stick
returning
around.
to the 41st millennium later on in the show. For now, though, we're going to segue into something which is quite interesting. We've talked a lot about ways to get people who are new to Warhammer started with Warhammer 40,000. So let's talk for a little bit about the Warhammer Academy.
What? Are they finally going to try and monetize those annoying $300 40K lessons people charge for? Is that what this is?
Wise wizard beneath the mountain, we are in search of enlightenment. Long and difficult has been our journey, and many things are still hidden from us.
Tell me what you seek.
What is the difference between the Black Rage and the Red Thirst?
How do you get decals to lay smoothly on a Space Marine shoulder?
Yeah.
And how exactly do you use command points?
Ah! So you seek to learn the ways of Warhammer.
This is kind of cringe, I'm not going to lie. Oh boy, how much are they going to charge for this? I wonder.
So, wise wizard beneath the mountain. What is the Warhammer Academy?
I'm so glad you asked, Eddie. Warhammer Academy is a really exciting thing that we've been working on behind the scenes here at Games Workshop for a while now, and is the perfect way to answer the question, how do I get started with Warhammer? The idea is that people can come to this website, which is free to use, and they can get guided first steps on how to begin exploring Warhammer. So there's going to be at launch like well over 100 videos, which are all video lessons that deal with the lore and collecting, with painting and modeling, and with gaming. To get
welcome
you on
back,
your
Jesse.
first steps. I'm out of breath. I had to throw this costume on to get you started on your sort of first steps through Warhammer. When the website launches, it will focus on Warhammer 40,000 to coincide.
Gonna be tacked on Warhammer
some
Plus?
products
Yeah,
so that people
probably.
can, like experience Warhammer for the first time and go through sort of learning all about the universe and what the factions and the armies are, and really going on that same journey that we've all been when we've been able to sit down with somebody and who's told us all about what Warhammer is. And then the painting team have put together these amazing videos.
It's going to be really
Start
funny
basic,
if this has been
all the
like
way through to some
an
really
official
great
wiki.
techniques that will have your army looking fantastic.
The
And
fandom
gaming
wiki
side
owners on
takes it from
Suicide
if
Watch.
you've never played a game of Warhammer before, and takes you all the way through to playing your first games of Combat Patrol, which we played and had a lot of fun with. And so you should be able to have a wonderful experience. If you are completely new to Warhammer, or there's somebody in your life that wants to get started, this is a wonderful thing to point them towards when we launch it, and they'll be able to take their first steps. If you want to sharpen your own skills, we talk about, as we've been working on the Academy, the idea that you can build your skills, your confidence, and your experience to get the most out of this wonderful Warhammer hobby that we all enjoy. And so the whole purpose of this Academy, which is free to use, is to just get on board and sharpen those skills and your confidence and have a great time.
Sounds wonderful.
Nice. And the releases alongside those Warhammer 40,000 starter sets that we talked about previously. So not long now, a month or so, and then you'll be able to see Warhammer Academy for yourself.
Sounds great.
Perfect. I'm really excited. Right. Now I'm going to get out of this costume, and while we do, let's travel to the old world.
Oh, okay, old world. All right. Okay, chaos. Oh, they're releasing a core set. Okay. Lord on a Chaos Dragon. Sorcerer Lord.
Welcome back. I've returned to normal, and we are now thrilled by some news for Warhammer the Old World. That was a great looking box of miniatures. There's a lot to talk about. We've got some of the models here to get close-ups on in a little while. For now, let's dive into that new 2-player box for Warhammer the Old World. This features two armies going head to head. You have the army of Grand Cathay going up against the Chaos Warriors. So within it, you will see in a moment the Cathay force. This is Grand Cathay. They're fairly recent addition
Yeah, they're
to
quite new
Warhammer the
miniatures,
Old
aren't
World.
they, these ones?
And this is an army you'll have already seen before. So
Hey, when are you going to finally release Kislev like you promised? That's what I want to know.
With. And they're taking a big part in the sort of ongoing struggles in the.
Did they say anything about the 10th edition Orc Codex working through 11th? Thought they were.
It's a beautiful.
Oh, okay. RTH. They're releasing the new Orc Codex first.
Wonderful new range of all plastic Warriors of Chaos, which you'll find in the other half of this box set. So here you can see the Chaos Warriors themselves.
Yeah, this is an amazing update to your Warhammer Old World Warriors of Chaos. Warriors of Chaos, of course, one of the archetypal villains, well, the archetypal visuals, really, of Warhammer, the Old World. This is a really cool army. All the bits in this are multi-part.
Grand Cafe.
All brand new plastic miniatures.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Chaos Warriors are kind of the mainstay of the Warriors of Chaos army. These are elite heavy infantry in the best armor that you can get in Warhammer the Old World, and they stride forward in ranks of hard-to-kill warriors, and they will deal punishment when they get there. Of course, they are but part of this new force. The other part, and perhaps the most iconic of the Warriors of Chaos units, are the Chaos Knights. These are super elite heavy cavalry inside this new box.
I'm glad they're making more like focusing on making new plastics for Old World.
When Chaos Knights used to often feature in units of 4, so you
because this is just the better game compared to Age of Sigmar.
Standard bearer and then an additional knight.
If you want to get into Warhammer Fantasy Tabletop, get into Old World
you can
instead.
add into the unit, obviously, and make it bigger.
You get 4 in the box. You'll be able to get more as time goes on. So if you want to build bigger units of Chaos Knights, you certainly will be able to. Chaos Knights are some of the hardest hitting and most dangerous cavalry units in all of Warhammer.
They're also just like almost the archetypal heavy cavalry, right? Like when you build an army for Warhammer the Old World, you're like, well, I can take a charge, but could I take a charge from Chaos Knights?
Probably
it's like
not.
The absolute pinnacle of the hardest hitting unit. So lots of people.
Why not? Because Age of Sigmar is a bad game and a bad setting.
Almost never see a Chaos army without
Warhammer the Old World is like the original Warhammer.
And then the force is led by some champions of chaos. You have one on foot and one on horse. This one here you can see is modeled as a battle standard bearer. The kit contains enough options that you can swap around the things. So in a moment, as we see the screen progress, you'll see some of the things you can do. It also has a chaos champion on a demonic mount. This is my favorite model in the set. It is beautiful and is a really
really nice.
I think it looks like
that's a really nice kit.
Chaos Warriors from some of those old Warhammer Fantasy army books.
Oh well, you mean why not have the Chaos Knight of a mug?
Like,
well, he's on the job. He can't be drinking.
The Chaos Warriors you wanted them to look like all those years ago. It's just such a cool kit. I love the standard bearer as well. I think this champion kit is one of the best sort of hero kits that Warhammer has yet released.
Yeah, I don't have a Chaos army for Warhammer. I never have, but I would really like to get my hands on that model. I think it just works beautifully. So let's talk for a little bit about that box. It's a 2-player core box for Warhammer the Old World. It's essentially what you need to start playing Warhammer the Old World if you haven't before. It's an enormous box. It contains the armies. It also contains the rulebook and a muster list. The rulebook is the same rules as you currently use for Warhammer the Old World. So if you're sat there worrying that this is going to change the rules that you're playing with, it won't.
Okay, so they're not doing a new edition.
With this rulebook and the rulebook you already have, if you're already playing the Old World, is that the erratas and things that exist online are...
Yeah, it's a starter box.
So that should make life a little bit
easier.
easier.
You can bring just this book, and you don't need to worry about any other documents.
Exactly. And then...
so it's just updated with all the errata. Okay.
Battle March. We'll talk more about that in a little while.
I saw another miniature when we were showing off some of that.
Yeah, we'll just talk about the muster list before we go. Muster list is the rules for the models that are in the box. There you go. This is how to play Warhammer all in one handy box, and is very exciting and continues.
Already building a horse heresy and 40k army. You don't need a third Old World army. I feel that.
This is such a show-stopping model. This is the Warriors of Chaos, Lord on Chaos Dragon, and there's so much to talk about. Eddie?
You just get a sense of the size of it just from that shot where it was already taller than the 3-story building behind it.
That's a really good model.
Enormous, phenomenally cool miniature for Warhammer the Old World. I think probably the biggest monster we've had released.
What is happening with heresy? Well, we're going to find out later. They have announcements for it.
Warhammer the Old World launched. There's things to talk about. The first, I want to just wax lyrical on how cool Chaos Dragons are. We've seen this image before of Chaos Dragons with 2 heads. There used to be a like a special character. Chaos
Yeah, you had,
Dragon?
Garak, the Chaos Dragon, which was the kind of one that had eaten the Lord of Change, and then before that you had Von Horseman,
That's right,
who
yeah.
was the kind of former College of Magic in the Empire
There you go.
character.
Hot
who was
damn,
on
those
the
Chaos
two-headed
models are
King
sexy.
Dragon.
Yeah, no, these are
But
really
that's a
nice.
Long time ago.
Like,
We've never had
it's
a plastic
actually
version of it. A
amazing
plastic
how
two-headed Chaos Dragon has been a long time coming.
old school
and I think
Warhammer
even though
fantasy
we've
just
waited
blows Age of
decades for it,
Sigmar
this is
out of the
worth the wait.
water
It
in
is a
terms of
really cool
design.
model.
It's
And I say
also
it every
really sometimes
time.
called a two for kit in that
All
you
the
can
good
make
looking
a
Age of
copy with
Sigmar
it. So
models
you see
are
the
just
Chaos Lord. This is a
aesthetic
Sorcerer Lord.
transplants from
And
old
there's some
Warhammer
differences.
fantasy.
First is the Rider, obviously. He's now a hunched and wizened Chaos Sorcerer, which is a powerful unit in its own right.
We have Archaon at home. Archaon sucks. I prefer this. I prefer this.
A two-headed Chaos Dragon. Everything you would.
Oh, Sorcerer
You're not going to kill
Lord,
him with a
too.
light
Cool.
cavalry unit, are you?
No, absolutely not. Additionally, there's some slight differences with the dragon itself. You'll notice that this one has sort of different frills and things. So if you wanted two dragons, you could have different riders on them and they would look a bit different. And then with a little bit of sort of paint magic, what you've got is two very striking, different looking Chaos Dragons in your army. Very exciting centerpiece model. The images that the video team have put together here capture its majesty. It's possibly even better in the flesh, and we have it on the desk here, so you can see it looming over some of these new Chaos Warrior models.
Yeah, one of the things we haven't mentioned as well is just next to the Chaos Dragon, just below it here, whichever one you don't build. So if you build the Chaos Lord on the dragon, you get a Chaos Sorcerer Lord on foot, and if you build the Sorcerer Lord on the dragon, you get a Chaos Lord on foot. So whatever way you build this, you get.
That's actually really good.
You get if you build it with the Chaos
You
Lord,
can
and then
build
this
the
is
one
Chaos Lord
on
foot,
foot
you
that
get
you
the
don't
Sorcerer.
put on the
So,
dragon.
ooh, crikey. Always worried I'm going to destroy a heavy metal model live on video. Really a great kit. You can see all the other.
It's actually a really
Sizes
great
as well.
idea.
I mean, these are big models, right?
You're gonna head out, have fun, preview. Okay, Captain Pip. I'll see you later.
So it's a
Have a
big
good day,
old
dude.
beast. And also just phenomenally good in the game as well, right? Like a Chaos Lord on a two-headed Chaos Dragon is up there with the very best units in all of Warhammer: The Old World. There's almost nothing that can go toe to toe.
I just want to, before we move on from Chaos Warriors, have a look at the back of the Chaos Champion on horse. You can see all of this amazing extra detail. He's got like fur under his saddle. He's got like heads hanging from chains. Like the detail on these models is just wild.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's worth calling out actually about these Chaos Warriors particularly is that these are Chaos Warriors designed for Warhammer: The Old World, so they're meant to look like the logical extension of the kind of Marauder
Absolutely.
archetype.
They're very much sort of the chaos armored barbarians from the north.
But there's still a little bit of that kind of like barbarian raider vibe to them. They've got the look of someone who's kind of walked out of the Arctic North of the Warhammer world. So that they're
about to ransack the old.
Absolutely, yeah.
You've got to love it. Right. Obviously, alongside the new core box, people might want to get their hands on some other things that would be useful. So here you can see common magic items and laws of magic. These are cards which enable you to do quick reference as you're playing your games and can be very useful. They're not required. Obviously, the rules for these things exist inside the book. There's also another thing that we
quick reference cards.
This is Battle March, the General's Companion. Now, Battle March is a new way to play games of Warhammer: The Old World. The way this works is that you build smaller forces, not unlike Spearhead or Combat Patrol, between 400 and 700 points, and then you unleash them in games that are quicker to play and more.
Okay, so small
There's some
scale
rules in this
games. Got it.
companion which sort of detail how you make your force. So there's some limitations on what you can and can't take, and some requirements.
On the subject of
And then there's
Warhammer,
different
Joey
scenarios
told me
to
you
play.
don't paint your
The
Warhammer
rules
minis
for
and
Battle March are in
they
the
just sit
rulebook,
there
and there's
naked.
those rules and more information
Amanda,
and
I'm
scenarios
working
that
on
you
it.
play
Okay,
about
I'm working
inside
on
the
it.
Battle
I got to
March
get the
rules.
ones I have built, and
Whichever
then I'll
one you
paint them. I
take,
literally
your
bought
option is
paints.
You can start playing, I don't know, like lunchtime leagues, or maybe like a campaign across a weekend of like quick turnaround games.
or if you've just started.
Old
now, it's the
World
first
fans
time and
kind of
you
eating
haven't got
good,
enough
not gonna
to
lie.
play,
Yeah, they
so
really
you're gonna
are.
play
They
with
really
a
are.
a smaller force.
Yes. Now, to help you with
You
that,
better. Yeah, I'm
they're
going to.
releasing
I want to
the
get my
first
Death
of
Watch
our
assembled
Battle March
first.
armies. So this is the Warriors of Chaos and Grand Cathay Battle March armies, and they contain a variety of units deliberately designed to give you a good battle March
Okay.
experience. And you
I
can
feel like
totally
releasing
add these
combat
to the
patrol
new
sized
box, and
forces
you
for
have them
Old
like
World
bring
is
up
a really good
We were
idea.
talking about if you add either of these boxes onto your the new sets coming. out,
Primer
the
is a
Warriors of Chaos
paint.
and the
Yeah, I
Warriors
mean,
of Chaos
you're not wrong,
and
Sword. You're
then
not
you add something
wrong.
Like I don't know, a monster like a two-headed dragon.
Yeah, or a Cathayan dragon.
Or a
perhaps,
Cathayan dragon.
If
You've pretty
AOS
much got
sucks,
an
how do I
army,
play
ready to
Skaven?
go. These are really
Buy
lovely places to
Skaven
start
models,
a
put
force
them on
or,
square
just a really good
bases,
bolt-on load
and
or
use
something
the
else.
Legend
absolutely.
Skaven units.
There's
Nobody who
also more
plays
coming to the
Old World would
This
turn
is
you
the,
away.
Arcane Journal, The March of Chaos. This continues the narrative that we're seeing unfold in the old world at the moment. The Chainbreaker, this Chaos Lord, is descending from the north with an enormous throng. They're ploughing through the northern provinces of the Empire. Even the forces of Grand Cathay have been called in, volunteered themselves to come in and try and stave off this invasion, and it's a grim affair. Magic is being fired around everywhere.
Excuse me.
So that card deck is for magic ploys, which the winds of magic are blowing so furiously.
See you around. Enjoy your stream. Hey, later, Nasco. Hope you have a good day.
It's a really good time to be playing Warhammer Old World right now.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the narrative they're kind of weaving as well about all these different invasions leading up to a big war. Some would say a great war.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, I like that. That was a good deep cut if you know your Warhammer history. So, slight segue. It's not quite the old world, but it's very similar. Let's talk about Blood Bowl for a minute. Blood Bowl is the game of fantasy football, and there is some really exciting things to show with the release of the new Spike Journal. This is Spike Journal 22. Blood Bowl 7s is the theme. What's Blood Bowl 7s? I hear you ask. Well, I'm glad
Blood
you
Bowl 7s, Adam?
There you go. Perfect. Blood Bowl 7s is essentially
Blood Bowl's always so
a way of
funny to
playing
me.
Blood Bowl, which is
Like,
akin
I've never
to, like,
played
rugby
it,
sevens or five-a-side
but I
football.
like.
So
I'm
you're
glad it
compacting your team,
exists.
You're
You
playing
know.
faster games on a smaller pitch. It's very frenetic. It really changes quite a lot of the tactics and the ways
You're
that you
heavily
play,
thinking they're transitioning from
and makes
AOS to
for
the
a
old world as the main
entirely
line.
different
Hey,
and
you,
very fun
Vernus,
experience.
you think that too, huh?
You get four
You
of your
noticed that
positionals,
too, huh?
in this game, so
You're also
you've got quite a lot of
noticing.
skills
You're
within the
noticing,
tabletop,
like
and
I
it's
am.
just a
Yeah,
lot of fun.
I've also
I'm
noticed
excited for this, but I'm even more
that
excited
the
for what we're about to show you,
they're
which is some
yeah.
fantastic new Blood Bowl
They're
miniatures.
they're
First of which
trying to
is a
do
new
with
big one available for
old
several
world
teams.
what they do with their
This
other
is the
games.
Rat Ogre.
I love this model. I think the thing that I most love about it is if you look on his shoulder, he has a little rat with a piece of cheese and a flag on his tail.
That is beautiful, but is
Every
it
time you
better or as good
stalked
as
near
a
it when I
rat
worked at
wearing
a
gas
game
mask
store,
and
you would
carrying
question
a
the
lump
existence of
water?
Blood
It's
Bowl.
very close.
It
and I
is
think you'll
literally
have to
just a
make that
silly
decision for
alternate
yourself how you
universe.
Get hold of your own rat
Like
ogre. And you
where
could take
build
they
your
play
rat ogre without
football
either of those rats,
instead
but-
of
I mean,
wage
you
war.
could if you wanted to not have a rat on his shoulder. You guess you could do without.
The
but
funny thing is,
does anyone want that?
This is also a great model, but if you're not taking one of the rats, I think you've gone mad. This is available for a number of teams. Obviously, you can use it in the Skaven team, but also the Underworld Denizens and the Chaos Renegade teams. If you want some real muscle to go in there and just clobber the enemy, break the enemy line so that your team can run through.
You've
and
got
score
some
goals.
mutation options in there as well. I
Yeah,
can see.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Speaking of big uns, there's another
Evening,
one on the
Bo.
way.
What
This is
specialty
the
game would you
Minotaur.
bring back from the dead?
Yeah, absolutely.
Battlefleet Gothic for 40k.
This is
None of this
one
bring
those
it back for
iconic
Horus
heavy
Heresy
hitting,
crap.
Blood Bowl
Bring
units,
it
and it's
back
again
for
available
40k.
for a variety of Blood Bowl teams. You can use it in the Chaos Chosen, you can use it in the Chaos Dwarf list, you can use it in the Chaos Renegade teams. And here you can see the different ways you can build it to fit more in with the
The
teams
fact
that you're
Old
using.
World premiered
Yeah, so
before
this one here
AOS is
on
proof
screen at the
AOS is no
moment,
longer
rather than
priority.
can
Yeah,
or
Scorpion, I
improve,
can agree to
it's got
that.
Kind of
Yeah,
scorpion
why
claws.
catch the ball, right?
Yeah, he's not going to do much catching, but he might do even better clobbering than a regular Minotaur.
Yeah, no kidding. Now, those are wonderful. The thing I'm most excited about, not just for this Blood Bowl.
You got some of your chatters in a
but
tizzy
making
yesterday.
all
Actually,
of
hold
Blood
up,
Bowl
hold
is
up.
our
Let me do
next
something.
He is
reveal.
your favorite, Adam.
Morgenthau is my favorite thing about Blood Bowl. I absolutely love him. He's been an iconic character from like.
Go
right from
get
the
guys.
start.
Go give Mander a
There is
follow.
new
Mander's
multi-part classic
Mander's a
Morgenthau
personal
model coming,
friend.
and he is wonderful. The kit enables you to make him in one of 3 very iconic designs. Here you can see the Reichland Reavers one, which.
Because I had the audacity to say there should be a Gunnar game based on the Fallen system.
This is him.
There's a lot of fan artists who would agree with that, honestly.
Orc team, and you can see like the orc charms and things around his neck. This is for the Chaos All Stars when he played with that team. That was his first
AOS
of
might be.
teams, so
Yeah.
he's still
Oh
got
no.
You can see
Believe me
he's
when I
also got
say,
each of the
Avernus,
Chaos
AOS is a
icons on his
DEI.
neck as well, which is
AOS is a
absolutely love it.
DEI
If you are unfamiliar with Blood Bowl
filter
or Morgan
for the rest of
particular, let me tell
Warhammer.
you, He is genuinely one of the
Adam,
best
can you
things.
take him in a halfling team?
You can, and I have used him to lead my halflings to almost glory
Almost
a number
glory,
of
yeah.
times. I love him. He's so good. He hits like a freight train. He's really heavily armored. He's got great skills, mighty blow, loads of armor, everything you could possibly want, and he costs a load of points. So halflings are really cheap. So
Can
you
he
stack
throw
a load of-
halflings?
He can throw a halfling. In fact, my halfling, my favorite halfling, Captain Colin Head, scored many a touchdown and nearly died as he would be lobbed down the pitch. I could talk about Morg for far too long. He's coming soon. I'm very excited. Please let me have one. Let's look at the models. Okay.
I gave
so
you all the Morgs.
There we go. These are the beautiful heavy metal painted Morg models, and here you can see what they look like. So going sort of from this side onwards. This
How
is
people
Morg.
play?
Please go to me.
How do people play Skaven before AOS? They were an army in They were an army in the
Different
original
armor,
Warhammer
different
Fantasy.
heads, different chest plates. You've got a bunch.
They
of
exist
Yeah,
in
and this is Morg with the
Age of
From, I
Sigmar
think, the
because
first
they
edition of
existed
Warhammer. Yeah,
in
second.
number of them, really. I think
old
you could do a
school,
couple of
you know,
and then,
Warhammer Fantasy.
Then, if you wanted to do them as Chaos All Stars, you'd use this this one. But ultimately, build your Morg how you want and just go and clobber the enemy and score some touchdowns.
There you go.
We have the other models on the table as well. You can see the Minotaur.
If that's true, you commend their ability to dance around the corporate slop environment. Okay, I mean, unironically, the most corporate slop part of Games Workshop is the Age of Sigmar team.
So there we go. A good time for Blood Bowl. 3 amazing new big characters coming your way. A new way to play Blood Bowl.
About Gunnar Games, ever see the old Crabclaw Demonettes? Okay.
And we are nowhere near
the Diaz Demonettes, as they're called, were peak Demonette design, and they need to go back to it. Oh, here we go, Horse Heresy. Okay, more Custodes. We knew this was coming. Suspiciously all helmeted. Yeah, we knew this was coming. And that's the the Telemon.
Welcome back. We are really excited to talk now about the Adeptus Custodes or Legio Custodes.
Well,
which one is it, Eddie?
It's both, Adam, because the new box set that's on its way is a reinforcement set for the Custodes, and you can use it for either Warhammer the Horus Heresy or Warhammer 40,000. And just in case you didn't believe us, we put the logos on the box.
It couldn't be clearer, could it?
No confusion. You can absolutely use this for
all those people saying the new Custodes aren't game agnostic on Suicide Watch.
You look at the models, which are huge and awesome. So let's start with the fastest unit in that box.
Yeah, these are the Gerfalcon jet bikes, an iconic unit from the Legio Custodes force. They are fast-moving, hard-hitting, heavily armed and armored units, which are designed to storm in and break the back of enemy forces. Each custodian is armed like to the teeth. There's loads of things to talk about here. The first thing would be to mention that there's different guns that come on these models. Essentially, you have a choice of the Adrathic Devastator Arachnus Volley Gun, twin Corvée Pulse Laser. That's the over and under one. You can see it looks a bit like an over and under shotgun. And then you also have the Lastrum Bolt Cannon. So loads of different weapons to do loads of different jobs.
Yeah. So one of the things in a Custodes army, obviously, is you haven't got a lot of units because they tend to cost a lot of points. So you might find that you've got a couple of things that your army's not very good at killing. And one of the things that units like this can do with loads of different options is you go, actually...
They look kind of like the old Custodes, not the lanky ones. I noticed that too.
You can hit these out with almost a gun for almost any occasion, right?
Absolutely.
You can
they
have
do look
different
like
guns
the
for
older
every unit,
ones.
Or you can actually go, I just want them all to be really good at killing vehicles, give them the best thing for killing the specific vehicle I think that I'm weakest into.
Yeah, all of them also have a Solarite Power Lance, which is a formidable power weapon.
It is
especially
enormous. The Solarite Lance, it's about 3 times the length of a Space Marine.
Yeah,
I reckon you could kebab about 5 Chaos Space Marines on that thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's 4 of these inside the set, which is a brilliant unit to go spearheading around the battlefield and just bring pain to the enemy. It's not the only thing that moves fast in this box. We also have the Pallas Gravatac.
The Pallas Gravatac is a fast-moving skimmer for the Custodes. You can kit it out with either...
I wouldn't be surprised if this box actually sells well, specifically because it has no specific female models. We saw that, by the way, with the...
so you don't have very many small...
What are they called? The...
zip around the battlefield, taking
the jump pack Custodes who have no women in their ranks.
Your infantry are very good at holding ground, but not very good at
that kit actually sells.
Another one of those units you can use to sort of cater for where you think you might need additional strength. Has 2 weapons to choose from: the twin Arachnus Blaze Cannon or the twin Iliastus Accelerator Fusil. Say those in a hurry, so you can tailor your your Pallas to deal with particular threats.
But I think the showstopper of this box is undoubtedly the Telemon Dreadnought. This is a
Telemons were always so cool to me.
Plastic kit, a reinvention of the resin version, the already very nice resin version of the Telemon Dreadnought, but in glorious multi-part plastic, keeping all the posability with even more detail and even more weapon options.
Yeah, speaking of weapon options, I'll walk you through them. Between its shoulder blades, you can see the Spiculus missile launcher, but there are other weapon options too. Here you can see the Iliastus Accelerator Culverin, the Adrathic Devastator, and the Arachnus Storm Cannon. On his other hand, so you can build those as you will, choose the one that suits your loadout. On the other hand, you have the Kestus, that's essentially fancy Legio Custodes terms for Power Fist, with twin Neutronium Cascade Projector. So
Yeah.
it's a bit like a flamethrower, but with neutroniums.
Absolutely. Neutronium's more deadly than
Also,
flame.
see,
Gotta
you
be,
can't
right.
do the dual gun
one of those
loadout
guns
anymore.
is, of course, new. The one that's currently equipped.
Huh.
The name escapes me. Sorry. The
Oh, I think you are talking about the Iliastus Accelerator
yeah,
Culverin.
exactly that one. And this is just a really beautiful kit, right? So you could paint this up very quickly if you wanted to, like a gold spray and then a wash would make it look beautiful. But equally, if you wanted to take your time over all the detail of this, it is absolutely dripping in detail.
It's a
more
nice
detail even
kit.
than
It's a
the
really
ones
nice
with
kit.
resin versions of this when it came out. We have one on the table, and we brought along some other dreadnoughts.
Interesting, you can't
can sort of
do
see,
you can't do the
how it
dual
scales
cannon
up.
build
You wanna
anymore.
go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. This Telemon Dreadnought is ever so slightly larger than the resin one. So we brought a Leviathan
Do
Dreadnought.
you remember when you saw a Leviathan for the first time and thought, you're never going to pick
Nothing could ever be cooler than a
Leviathan.
Leviathan Dreadnought. And he's still pretty cool. I like
Yeah,
Leviathans
absolutely.
a lot. But the Telemon Dreadnought stands a good head above the even the Leviathan.
You think it'll be an upgrade
last
kit?
Summer's release,
Possibly.
lots of people may have got their hands on a Saturnine Dreadnought, and here you can see there's some similarity between these two in terms of the shape of the shoulder pads and things. The Telemon is a little taller. The Saturnine is a little bit broader.
Yeah, absolutely. So this one definitely is got more mass to it. Like the weight of it looks.
I think it's really funny, by the way.
Stands ever so slightly
There are
taller.
literally
Might just
no
be
female
custodians who've
custodes
got
in
kind of
any
every
kit
Space Marine. I think that's probably the point.
except
Why not?
the
I like
basic
it.
infantry.
So all of these models.
It
we've
gets
talked
me.
about,
It gets my noggin jogging
Jet
noticing
Falcon, jet
that.
bikes, the Palace Gravatac, and the Telemon Dreadnought will be available in plastic for the first time as part of this box set, and then available separately later down the line.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can use them, definitely use them for both Warhammer 40,000 and Warhammer Horus.
You absolutely can. One of the new detachments for the Custodies in Warhammer 40,000 has some specific upgrades for Telemon Dreadnoughts as well. So there is.
Great, nice. So that's not everything for the Age of Darkness. We also have a new Journal Tactica on the way. This is Journal Tactica Prospero Burns, the Judgment of Valdor, and this deals with the actions of Constantine Valdor and the Legio Custodes during the burning of Prospero, when they joined forces with the Space Wolves to bring judgment to Magnus and his errant sons.
Yeah, we know quite a lot about the burning of Prospero. We've seen it from the Thousand Suns perspective.
I feel like there's Avernus. I feel like there's going to be some release inertia with female Custodes content
we haven't really heard much
on
about
paper.
what the Custodies were up to in this.
But I feel like
explore,
they'll probably be the last
that
of
and
it.
Kind of find out what they were
I
doing.
did a
while the
video
two
on that
legions were taking
recently.
chunks out of each other. One of the things that's quite cool about it is that the Custodies obviously on one side. On the other side, there are some Thousand Suns, but the main antagonist really for them is a demonic foe.
Yeah, absolutely. For the first time, this presents for this edition a full army list for the Demons of Siege, including new psychic disciplines. So you can.
Okay, they're finally remembering there were demons in the Horus Heresy. It took them long enough.
Who is presiding over the ruin of the Thousand Suns?
Okay. Or salvation, possibly.
No,
as they see
absolutely
it.
not.
Maybe,
They
probably
had it coming.
ruined. It is
They got what they
probably
deserved.
ruined, yeah.
There's even more stuff in there than we've talked about here. There's some new rules for the Solar Auxilia. There's a whole bunch of stuff. This is a packed Journal Tactica, which really.
Hey, so what
shines
about
a
the
light
Sisters
on
of
an area
Silence who were
Horus
critical in
Heresy.
fighting the Thousand Suns? What about them?
That's the best kind of Horus Heresy games. Ones where you're going back to those iconic moments in the lore and refighting it. Like, what if it was a little bit different? What if you had a slightly different mix? What if the tactics were different?
Yeah, absolutely.
Recreating those amazing stories is what it's all about.
So, sticking with the Age of Darkness, but going a bit smaller as we look at some Legions Imperialis.
Or possibly bigger.
But yes, bigger and smaller at the same time. We have 3 models we're going to talk about now. These are.
Nothing about the Sisters of Silence of Prospero. Okay, Games Workshop. All right.
To destroy utterly.
Boy, my video about them hating Sisters of Silence was on point, wasn't it?
As you see this video playing before you can see what all the different weapons are. There's a whole bunch, and they have really long and difficult to say.
They'll never walk it back, but you'll never see a new mini of them again. Okay, I think they will walk it back, but I'd wait closer to 12th edition for them to do that. Not going into 11th. Too much was already written that they can't put out of production
So there's
to rewrite it.
Guns to go on the turrets. You've got Gatling blasters and turbo laser.
That's my prediction. By 12th, they'll start to walk it
It
back.
also contains all the cards you would need to use this if you were playing Adeptus Titanicus.
Nice.
If you just want the weapons, they'll be available separately. You just won't get all the cards with it and stuff like that. Cool. This is one of 3 things we're going to talk about. The next one is the Warlord Battle Titan with Volkite Destructor and Macro Gatling Blaster. Again, not a thing to say too quickly on a Friday night.
These are
here
nice
is another
minis, but
towering,
nobody
god
plays
engine
Legions
of the,
Imperialis, so...
Legions. It
So
has
what?
A whole bunch of different weapons, which you can see playing out on your screen. They include the Graviton Ruinator, which you can
Sister of
see
Silence is too
biggest
sexy,
Graviton
should
I've
not
ever
exist,
seen.
queen. Yeah,
Vulcan
basically.
Destructor, Macro Gatling Blaster, and the Vulcan Mega Bolt.
GW despises Sisters of Silence, confirmed.
It also
Yeah,
includes a Wall of
confirmed.
Silence and those cards I mentioned before, if you wanted to play.
Why do they hate Sisters of Silence so much? They're so cool.
Adam, what if I had a slightly smaller title
because
that still
building
wanted
up
loads of massive
women
guns?
And complicated names
with
then
an all-female
you are gonna be
army
fine, because
doesn't
this is the
break
Titan
down
with the
men.
Titan with Graviton,
So they'll put the women in the Custodes instead.
Mid-sized Titan that packs an incredible punch with weapons such as the aforementioned Graviton Obliterator, the Volkite Annihilator. It also has a Vulcan Mega Bolter option for its carapace, and you just saw it there. My favourite, possibly, of all the names that we've had this evening, which is the Conversion Beam Dissolutor.
Those are some cool guns and some great verbs.
Yeah, it also has a Reaver head and the cards you would need to play in Adeptus Titanicus. And you can get the weapon separately should you desire no more Titans. What's wrong with you? There we go. Pretty exciting should you play Little Heresy.
So that's like all they had
There
for
we go.
Legions. Okay.
I need to take a breather. Now might be the time to talk a little bit about something coming to Warhammer Plus very soon. There is a new animation. Look at the Butcher's Nails.
Oh, okay. World Eaters. I have zero hopes for it.
That looks a bit good, Eddie. What can you tell us about Butcher's Nails?
Yeah, this is a new animation coming to Warhammer TV for Warhammer Plus subscribers. It is a one-off standalone episode, so it's a Hammer and Bolter episode of Warhammer 40,000. And effectively, it tells the story of a Khorne Berserker who is part of a Chaos assault on an Imperial stronghold. As you would imagine for a World Eater story, it is incredibly violent. It is by some margin the bloodiest and most violent piece of Warhammer animation we have yet featured on Warhammer TV. And it is pretty much non-stop carnage from the moment that the shots open to the final battles.
Fantastic. Here you can see a shot that we saw, something like this in the trailer. This looks like the head-up display inside the helmet of the World Eater.
Yeah, so not all of it, but some of the animation is shown from the literal perspective of the World Eater, who is obviously a little bit unhinged. The Butcher's nails are starting to bite. If he doesn't get continuous kills and carnage, he starts to go kind of slowly insane. And he basically is chopping
Correct
his
me,
way through
fantasy
as many
sets
enemies
are
as he
out
can
of
find,
print long
partly
ago.
to try and achieve victory,
What,
but mostly just to try and make
is
the
that why you don't see it at your
whining of
local
the
game
nails
store?
cease even for the briefest of moments.
If they,
Fantastic. And we got a sense of who
it would be
fighting, but
because they don't
what's the
carry
battle
Old World,
between-
basically.
I mean,
Old
he doesn't
Old
mind
World
him
is
what
the,
any-
hold on.
Khorne doesn't care as long as
I don't care about Warhammer Plus. Old World is the current rendition of Warhammer Fantasy. If they carry that, they carry Fantasy.
There are some Space Marines of the Imperial Fist. There's some other Chaos Space Marines in the mix.
Who I'm sure
as well.
don't get in the way of
They'll
Khorne.
get
Look,
on
kids,
fine, I'm
violence
sure.
dangles
Sorry,
keys.
no
Yeah.
or anything. It's all good. But yes,
I'm not
it's
gonna
gonna
lie,
be
40k
a,
World Eaters kind of
non-stop
suck when it
action
comes to
carnage.
storytelling.
It's a really
You can't
fun
really
one.
tell a story
Perfect.
with them.
And coming out fairly soon.
It comes out in August.
Hey,
Awesome.
Mech Tech,
That's
how you
very
doing?
exciting. So, from the Butcher's Nails and Warhammer Plus, let's go to the Mortal Realms for something more.
The maw opens, hungering predator, sun eater, the gulping god.
Oh, okay,
I see his will
Age of Sigmar.
in the meat, in the marrow, in the blood. He is the hunger that endures through winter and war. He calls us to feast, to swallow the realms. Eat, eat, eat. First we're gonna beat 'em, then we're gonna eat 'em. First we're gonna beat 'em, then we're gonna eat 'em. First we're gonna beat 'em, then we're gonna eat 'em. First we're gonna beat 'em, then we're gonna eat 'em.
See, this is one of those factions that illustrates the problem with Age of Sigmar design. Oh, what's this?
That was very exciting to
Oh,
see such a
this is one of
large
those.
amount
This is one of those
models coming
factions
into
that
the
illustrates the
mortal realms
problem
the
with
new Ogre tribes,
Age of
any
Sigmar
20
model
I
design.
am super excited.
These
about
are
this
just
release. This
Warhammer
is an
Fantasy
enormous range refresh for
models.
the Ogre tribes,
And they
there's
look
so
good.
much to talk about. I think let's
Anything
start with
made
the army
using
set, which is
original
coming out.
Age of
This is the
Sigmar
first
aesthetics
place
looks
you'll
like
get a chance
shit.
to get your hands on some of the new miniatures. This is an enormous army launch set, a little bit like what we've seen with some of the armies recently.
Yeah, like the Hellsmiths and so on.
Exactly like the Hellsmith, same sort of concept. You get a cool version of the Battle Tome and the first chance to get hold of a bunch of the miniatures.
You can do a
Let's have quick
story
chat
with
about
them.
some of the stuff in this
About
set.
them getting
Sure,
bodied
so
by
first
the
up, we get
Dark
to see
Angels. Yeah,
the
that'd be good.
mainstay unit
The
for Ogre
Black
tribes. These are the
Templars
Gluttons,
owning their
the
shit.
sort of,
I'd read that.
Replacement or refresh of what in old days you might have called Ogre Bulls, and boy, do they look good.
Yeah, the Ogre Bulls are still really cool models, like,
Yeah,
but they are they've been around for a
Yeah,
while.
like
They're
these
more
could
than
just be
20 years
Ogre
old.
Kingdoms for
Yeah,
old
sorry
world.
about that.
How old I was. Yeah.
And that's why
So
their
they are
design is
well,
good.
actually,
Because it's
deserving
just
of a refresh.
using
This
the
is a
old school
really cool
Warhammer
update for
Fantasy
them. They still
aesthetics.
keep the kind of
It's not
general
using the
aesthetic
Korean
of the Ogre
MMO
Bulls. They're
looking
much more
Age of
dynamic, a
Sigmar
little bit bigger.
bullshit.
The armor plates are much more impressive.
I really like the shape of the helmets. They look like they're designed to deflect sort of downward blows.
and
away
if
from
you
the
remember, like
shoulders as well.
DEI, am I an insult chud? I am indeed a chud. I am indeed a chud. If that's what you're asking.
These are much like cooler, more impressive poses. Even things like having those arms out, they just look really great. The
Who would
detail on
win,
these, obviously,
40k
20 years
Ogrins
on
or
from
fantasy
that time
ogres?
before,
The
the
40k
original
Ogrin just because they have
really cool,
guns, you
miniatures.
know?
You get 10 of
Like,
these in
they're
that
gonna
launch
win
box.
just off
This is
shooting
the most
alone.
basic of the Ogre More Tribes units.
Fantastic.
Let's move on to, I think, might be one of my favorites.
Yeah, so mine too. I think
Anything new for
the
Horus
Iron Guts
Heresy?
have always
They're
looked really cool, and
the
these
rest
are
of the plastic
even cooler
Custodes,
than
which
the
have no
Iron Guts
women,
are an elite ogre unit
and
that carry
you know, no
enormous
obviously
weapons,
female
and they wear more
models,
armor, so you can see
and
their armor plates on the arms going all the way up to the shoulders.
a new rule
Their
book, a
helmets
new
are a little
splat
bit
book
fancy,
about
massive
Prospero,
weapons.
They look like they mean
and
absolutely.
apparently official rules for Demons of
Zeech.
Zeech.
And again, much more dynamic, but those blades are about twice the size of a mortal human, right? So they are going to make an absolute mess. They already are an excellent unit in Warhammer Age of Sigmar. They're still an excellent unit, and now the miniatures are even better as well.
Yeah, absolutely. To keep this rabble in line.
Cheers for
you need
streaming,
an
Bo.
ogre
Made my
tyrant.
hospital status
So,
with.
this
Oh,
model
bro,
is
you're in the
a kit.
hospital?
It enables you to build him in a
Hold
couple
up.
of ways.
Hold up. Okay, I'm muting this. No one cares about Age of Sigmar. Hey, bro, if you're in the hospital, I don't know what's wrong, dude. But yeah, no. I'll put in a prayer for you. All right. Hoping whatever's happened to you that you get over it and you get better. All right. Yeah, I hope you feel better, dude.
You can obviously have a mix of them as well, but you've got a lot of different ways to kind of lean into different ogre armies, and it's just nice to have a multi-part character, right, where you can immediately start to make him your own. One of the big things about ogres for their entire history is the idea of like big names, right? They carry that through into this battle tome as well, where the leader of your force is literally making a name for himself by achieving various feats. So being able to kind of have the pelts of the things he's defeated on him absolutely makes sense. Those units we've all seen before in different ways. The next unit is effectively a new type.
These
are the
look
Maul
nice
Beast Cavalry
because they're
and
using the old
Maul Beast
fantasy
Raiders.
aesthetics.
This is a 2-for kit, so you can make.
You
two
could
different
honestly
units.
probably
They
just
function
put
in a
these on
similar way.
square
Both of them are
bases and
cavalry
use the
units.
old
Maul Beast Raiders are kind of
use the old
scout unit.
ogre
The Maul Beast
rules for
Cavalry are your hard-hitting,
you know, the
shock
Legends
cavalry.
ogre
They're a little
rules
bit
for
more
old
armored. The
world
guy
on
in the back
these.
has more
That's the
weapons,
cool thing
whereas
about
the Maul
old
Beast
world.
Raiders have some ranged attacks.
No
These
old world
effectively
player
replace the
rejects
Maul
people
Bank
using the
Cavalry
Legends
in your
army
ogre
rules
list,
for the
and
armies
they
that don't have
fulfill a
models
similar sort of
currently.
role in the army.
Yeah, and
No
we'll talk a
player
little bit
says
more
no
about
to
just
no
how
to them.
tough they are and how hard they hit in a little while.
Cheers, big man.
So
Back on
these are all
topic. These are
the models
good-looking
that come
ogres
inside
that would
new
wish to square
ogre army
bases.
set.
You could just
Obviously,
put them on
battle
square
tyrants and
bases.
war squad
Like,
as well.
you
This
could
is
just
the,
do that. No,
battle tome that comes
literally,
with the Ogre
nothing is
More
stopping you from
Tribes.
putting
It's lovely,
the Ogre Ma Tribes models on square bases and using them in old world. Literally, nothing is stopping you.
In due time, and you'll be able to get the models separately. But if you want first in on the new ogres, this is the way. It wasn't all we saw in that awesome video, though. Do you want to show the box?
Yeah,
It's
I've
pretty
got
cool.
the box right here. So this is the box. It's really lovely. That is all the stuff you get in there. So just to confirm, you get 10 of those gluttons. You get the tyrant. You get 2 of the cavalry, and you get that big unit of Iron Guts, and then you get your battle tome in there as well. So it's a really lovely set.
Fantastic. Right. So, what else is there to talk about? Well, I guess we saw some things which fit in a different sort of part of the ogre army with the sort of Maw Seekers component, right?
Yeah, so one of the bits of the ogre force is the kind of tyrant and the iron guts and things like that. But another fairly major part of ogre society are the Maw Seekers, the butchers.
Yeah, I will remind
the
everyone
wake.
of that. If
The
you
Butcher,
like,
again, is a
if
model
you want to play
built
like
for a very
Skaven in
long
Old
time,
World,
well worth an update.
just
This
buy
model is a phenomenally
corresponding
cool upgrade.
units from Age of Sigmar, put them on square bases of the proper size, and you're good to
The
go.
model's great, but he's definitely a bit grim, isn't
and
he?
the longer you look, the more disturbing it gets. The way he's holding the corpse.
They even tried to bag on the ogre song from the Total War trailer. Yeah, I noticed that too.
A really beefy ogre wizard.
Yeah, butchers are sort of part wizard, part chef, part shaman, part mystic to the ogres. They're really important to ogre society. Ogre society basically.
Fun fact, you can get bases of all form factors and sizes on Amazon. Yeah, exactly.
Hunger, which they
exactly
as the will of the god. More.
If you want to play those Legends armies in
you speak to
Old World,
butchers try to tap in,
and you want models,
power, that kind of godly power, and manifest
the corresponding equivalent faction in Age of Sigmar is literally right there.
And then manifesting that into magic.
Unironically, more people buy Age of Sigmar models to use them in Old World than actually play Age of Sigmar with them. Games Workshop will never admit it, but it's true.
Butchers in training, right?
Yeah, these are fanatics of ogre society who follow in the wake of the butchers. They do a range of different things. After a battle, they'll collect up all the various body parts and offal and bits of enemies to throw into the cauldron for the butcher. They are kind of fanatically.
Might be time to crack out the white spray base and gold paint and do up Tomb Kings.
Design team and the
like I was saying earlier, I want to finish my Death Watch and some other model projects I'm working on, and then start painting the ones I'm currently building.
They're not the only things within this Maw Seeker collective. That kit also makes another option, so you can either make the cleavers that you saw there, or you can make these, which are the Gutseers.
Yeah, Gutseers are even more horrible and sinister than the butchers, if you can imagine that. These have tapped into the power of Maw, and the way that they work in game is that your wizards become more powerful and can effectively cast spells through these guys when they're nearby. The thing that I really like about them from a miniature perspective is those gut plates. If you look at the gut plates on something like the Iron Guts, they have just armored guts, whereas these
they look like teeth, maybe. But
yeah, these guts look like intestines or offal or.
And they're kind of rendered in really like arcane parody.
I love it. I think it's really
Palpatine ogres. You know, I can kind of see it now.
And then, of course, at the center of all of this is Red the Maw. This is the High Slaughtermaster, so sort of like the head of this cult of the Gulping God. Eddie, what can you tell us about Red?
This is a brand new character for the Ogre Maw tribes. This is one of the most powerful characters in your Ogre army. One of the most powerful characters in all of Age of Sigmar. Goes to battle on this enormous kind of cauldron construct that's pulled into battle by a Gorger. Gorgers are the other part of that kind of Maw Seeker grouping. So Maw Seekers covers your butchers, your Gorgers, and all the kind of various fanatics that follow in their wake.
All these minis look like perfect feminists. Yeah,
goes after the battle,
perfect feminists, male or female.
And this is both an incredible miniature, but also an incredibly powerful piece for your Age of Sigmar armies. We'll have a little look at some of the rules around it later. And in lore terms, this is the high prophet, the high priest of the Gulping God. So ogres from across the realms flock to Red the Maw to hear what they've got to say.
I love the fact it's being pulled into battle by a Gorger as well. That's just really cool. So all of these models are coming in the not too distant future for the Ogre Maw tribes.
Yep.
Obviously, we need a battle tome to learn all about it, and so there will be the standard edition on the left or the gamers edition on the right to let you get what you need to start playing your games.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a huge and sizable update of things for the Ogre Maw tribes. We've shown you almost all of the new models
but not
for the ogres. There's a couple more things on the way. The other thing that's worth saying is
you're not tolerating ogre slander. The ogres were. I thought the ogres back in old school fantasy were really cool.
Monsters. So if you've got some things like Stonehorns and stuff in your army, you can still absolutely use those, and they work really nicely alongside that Tyrant, which we have one on the table here, done up as a.
It's got that beast claw.
Yeah, got the kind of beast claw vibe. There with I'll turn him around so you can see the kind of pelt on his back, which is really cool.
Fantastic. Should we have a little bit of a look at some of the rules?
Yeah, let's do it.
And what you'll find inside the battle tome. So these are the faction rules, the battle traits for your ogres. What can you tell us, Eddie?
Yeah, so we're not going to go through the entirety because there's a big old page of rules there. But if you're an ogre player or you want to know what you're going to be up against in Age of Sigmar, take your screen grab now. Fundamentally, they've got two.
Make all the characters in Age of Sigmar be subject to that specific horse from Berserk and that infamous scene. No, I'd say rescue them from Age of Sigmar, put them in the old world, put them in the actual good game.
Out of the enemy unit you're you're fighting, and you can get a bunch of different rules. So this encourages your ogre army to just get stuck in. If they're in the middle of the enemy army, they can start getting bonuses. There's some really strong stuff in there. You've got stuff like run and charge. You can make the unit harder.
Yeah, that's what I keep saying.
You can mess with enemies.
The Age of Sigmar models that just look like old school fantasy models look great. The Age of Sigmar models that are designed with specifically for Age of Sigmar in mind, using the Age of Sigmar aesthetics, look like shit. They look like they're out of a Korean mobile MMO, you know? Like one of those really soulless kind of fantasy settings where everything is over-designed and,
yeah, absolutely.
you know,
hit by that wall of iron and
soulless looking.
Obviously, the war scrolls have been looked at as well. So these are the Maul Beast cavalry that we showed you before. They come in the army set. And I talked about how just devastatingly powerful they are. The gut bite weapons do damage 3. The Maul Beasts do damage 2, 3 on the charge. These hit you like a landslide. So many attacks.
I think this is a really powerful.
Sorry, fucking Age of Sigmar's putting me to
If you're
sleep.
familiar with the way that ogres work today, you'll know how Mournfang cavalry work.
I'm trying to find things to talk about, but frankly, outside of the fact these would work in Old World, there's nothing really much to talk about. It's Age of Sigmar.
They are a really tough unit to deal with because they're excellent on the charge, because they're bonuses to charge, but they're also excellent when being charged. So they're a really hard unit to kind of solve for your enemy. I think just a couple of these on the flanks would do great, or even investing on a big double-sized unit and slamming it into the middle of the enemy army could be very powerful.
Yeah, and you can see some of the special rules and things that are going on there, but I love the Ravenous counterattack rule. That means that you can be quite daring with them as a sort of like scouting units in your force. Brilliant. We talked a little bit about Read the More, Heroes rules. There is a lot to take in.
Yeah, this is one of the kind of big name special characters of the ogres as well. We're not going to go through everything on the sheet. Feel free to take a screenshot and peruse at your leisure. The things to call out are this is an incredibly durable character, 18 wounds, a 4-up save, and a ward save.
Trying really hard to drum up AOS interest. Yeah, it's when it comes to AOS, it's basically over. They just can't admit it yet.
That command ability where effectively you can pick an ogre unit nearby, and that unit can benefit from as if it was in combat with an enemy unit. So all of those big list of buffs that you've got in your army special rules, you can just give those out to units nearby for a command point, and you can do some great stuff with that. You've got one of them in there, which is run and charge. So right from the off, you can be like, I really want one of my units in combat.
Funniest part of playing Skaven is losing more models to morale than attacks. I mean, yeah, that's just Skaven all the time.
Really useful linchpin unit for the middle of your army.
Fantastic. So that's a lot of great stuff coming all on the way for the Mortal Realms with the Ogre More tribes and this incredible range refresh.
Yeah, we've got some close-ups here. Just a sense of how big they are. I don't know if we've got a human for scale. He seemed to have wandered up. Maybe they ate him when we weren't looking.
So here you've got Read the More in the middle. You can see the size of him. He's really an absolute beefcake.
Hey, now guys, remember, just put him on square bases. Don't play Age of Sigmar. I will keep reminding everyone.
Here on the side, you can see the Ogre Butcher. He's really quite an impressive model in his own right. And again, this huge cauldron. If I spin him around, you can see just how detailed these models really are. Just something to behold. Loads of things going on the back. Sort of, he's got these animal horns and things, so they look like they're carrying trophies and things all around. Just really great. It's an incredible looking kit. Yeah. I think the
you get a sense of the size of him because that's a human, right? That he's holding on the butcher.
Yeah, no kidding. He's got half a person.
Yeah, got half a person there.
Yeah. That's pretty gross. So anyway, these have disturbed me for long enough. I'm really excited to see them come out. I think they're going to make quite a wave within the Mortal Realms. We are still not done yet. There is still more awesome stuff to talk about in this big summer preview. Next, we're going down.
All right, what's next? Oh, okay, Necromunda. I love the style of Necromunda. It's so old school 40K. Okay, it's a new core set for Necromunda.
Welcome to the Underhive with a new edition of Necromunda Skirmish. This is very exciting. I'm a big fan of Necromunda. I've played it since I was a 16-year-old boy. and it's great to see a new edition come. This is essentially an edition reset for Necromunda, and this core set here that you can see here, this 2-player battle box, is the perfect way to get into it. If you're an existing Necromunda player, we'll talk about some of the other ways too. Here you can see it on the screen. It pitches the Orlok. Sorry, crikey, you can see me going to my favourite gang just automatically. It pitches the Goliaths against the Escher in a classic house matchup. Let's have a look at some of the kits that come with it. We've got a box here which we can use as a prop, but we've got some great images to show on the screen. It contains 2 gangs within the box. The first of which are these. They're the Blades of the Matriarch. This is all new models. We've not released these ones before, and there's some fantastic options in there. At the back, for example, you can see a Huntress with auto pistols and multi-harness. On the right-hand side, you've got one which is a Blade Maiden with a shock whip. You've got the Chem Witch, who's got the auto chem. It's that crazy looking flamer thing that you can see towards the back. Loads of fantastic options to really fill out an Escher.
Yeah, I want to say Clint Escher's whole thing is drugs.
You'll probably want to add these to it because it gives you even more options and even more fantastic models. This is also a perfect starting point for an Escher gang in its own right. You could never have played a game of Necromunda, and these would be a wonderful jumping on point. They go head to head with the Goliaths. These are the Forge Smelters. Goliaths, the House of Chains, known for their sort of industrial power, and all of these like heavily muscled, stim-enhanced warriors carrying weapons which kind of have an industrial feel. So you've obviously got the heavy stubber at the back, but there's loads of other weapons that might be less familiar. For example, you've got the
This would go perfect in Imperial Agents. Yeah, listen, they could. It's really funny how awful Imperial Agents is because it would have been so easy to do it right.
The Goliath at the front. You've got one with a Chem Slugger. There's loads of different things going on so that you can either add these to an existing Goliath force or just use these as your first ever Goliath.
It's the same since you just bought everything for your Palatine cops.
2 fantastic gangs.
I think those models will.
Everything you need.
I don't think they're, doing a new edition. I think they're just like revamping the rulebook a little bit. I think your models will be fine.
To position your gang behind to start playing your games. Essentially, this is a wonderful way to kick off Necromunda. If
you're looking forward to Codex Inquisition, and yeah, then we got that garbage. Exactly, Lunas.
Here you can see like a close-up on.
Oh, they called it a new edition. I missed that. Okay.
There's really a lot to enjoy here in these gangs, and if you look at the back of the box, you can see it all sort of laid out, sort of panning around, just full to the brim of great Necromunda stuff.
I still don't see why your models wouldn't be good though.
Come in this new edition than just this. It's worth.
Oh yeah, it's a new edition. There they just said it.
Necromunda. The thing that makes it so exciting is this continuous war between the great gang houses. So there are 6 gang houses that you might.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay, they're really pushing Necromunda now. They're doing starter sets.
Cawdor, Delac, Escher, and Goliath, and you can see them all displayed here. These are Underhive crew boxes. These contain models that you might already know if you're familiar with Necromunda, presented in a brilliant format that lets you essentially make one purchase to start an entire Underhive crew of your own. I'm a big fan of Necromunda. I've played it for years and years. I've got a really big Orlok gang, and I looked at the Underhive crew and was like, oh, that's essentially everything you need for a really fantastic Orlok crew. Things to talk about quickly while we're here. So obviously this box contains everything. If you just wanted the Necromunda rulebook, say you've got loads of Necromunda stuff and you don't want to buy a new the core box for some mad reason, then you can just buy the Necromunda rulebook. This is a large hardback book. It's just packed with.
Last time I looked at Necromunda was in the 90s. Yeah, Necromunda is like. And it's kind of cool how they brought that back, and now it's like one of their more popular games.
Games are very exciting. I'm really excited to sink my teeth into it. If you've got an existing gang and you want to know where you find the rules for that, there's 2 more publications coming along for you. These are Gangs of the Underhive, which deal with those 6 gang houses we talked about before, along with various hangers-on and hired guns. And you've got Gangs of the Outland, which deals with those gangs and sort of Necromunda denizens that operate outside of the normal sphere, things like the Ironhead Prospectors or the Ashwaste Nomads. And you'll find their rules along with the various hangers-on in those books. So essentially, pick up the core rule book, pick up the gangs of the book that you need, and you are good to go with Necromunda.
Apparently now it's Kill Team only not. From what I understand, there's way more customization in Necromunda than Kill Team, and way more options.
When I'm playing Necromunda, it's a very tactile game, and you've also got the scenario cards which help organize.
Palatines are a good base for Macroc Planetary Defense Force troops.
Also, if
You know what?
wanna,
You're not
like,
wrong.
Enhance your battlefield, get your game going. There's an enormous.
Maybe they'll
range of
bring
fantastic
specialist games
Necromunda
back
scenery
a
and
la
terrain,
Battlefleet
the
Gothic.
Zone Mortalis range
Yeah,
is
last time I
big
heard
and
rumors
beautiful,
about bringing
and there's
Battlefleet
additions
Gothic
now
back.
with
It was going to be for
Victoria
Horus
pipes.
Heresy
You'll find some
only,
Factoria
which
pipes
if
inside
they
that core
do,
set,
I'm cashing
and there's
out.
even more if you buy the
I
Factoria
won't
pipes.
get involved
But
with it if it's Horus Heresy
and
only.
Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite things about Necromunda is when you start to see people like really lean into the scenery and they've got their Zone Mortalis bit and then they start building up and you get the pipes and walkways and you can have like fights across the gantries and you can shoot people down from higher up and all that sort of good
yeah,
stuff.
absolutely. My favorite games in Necromunda are always the ones which are played on multiple levels and you can blast someone off a 12-inch high precipice and watch them plummet.
I do
to
like a
their
bit
death.
of ash waste every now and again, though.
Yeah, yes, I agree, but there's something I like.
There is something cool about
remember
like
the
having a
first
little
time I
cross-
saw
Palatines
it,
look cool. Yeah, I like the Palatines. I think they're neat.
If you've never played Necromunda before,
Basically the you know, the local police versus the Arbites federal police.
Enthuse about it is how great it is. And if you're an existing Necromunda fan and you're looking for new challenges, this is really great because the rules have been tweaked and streamlined, and there's going to be new secrets to unlock. And it's going to be a good time to be fighting battles in the Underhive. The narrative that's been unfolding for the past few years, the Aranthian succession, is kind of done with. And I'm really excited to see where the team responsible for Necromunda take it in this new era. It's going to be cool.
Yeah.
And we are still
There's
not
more.
done. Yep,
Cool.
we are sticking around in the 41st millennium, but we're going to go to Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team with this.
Okay, Kill Team. What do we got?
After years of searching, we're closing in.
Catechins? I doubt it. They forgot catechins exist.
Unseen for decades.
Oh. Exodites. Okay, I'm happy with this. You know, Exodites are such a cool concept. They're dino riding Eldar.
We are alive and well in this year of 2026, and who would have had Exodites on their 2026 Warhammer bingo card?
This is a super exciting box set.
Really, right?
This is awesome. So obviously, every time we have a new Kill Team box set, it's very exciting. This one, I think, it will be particularly interesting, not just for fans of Kill Team, but for fans of Warhammer 40,000. Exodites are one of those last untapped awesome bits of Warhammer 40,000 lore. Whenever
they remember the Eldar
unveil
existed.
a cool new corner of the Millennium, it's always very exciting. I think Exodites absolutely fall into that little corner.
If you don't know what an Exodite is, very briefly, when the Eldari Society was starting to sort of, way back before the fall, starting to fall into decadence and depravity, the Exodites were like, no, thank you very much. And they left main society and they settled on places far flung from the mainstay of Eldar Society called Maiden Worlds.
Beautiful jungle planets full of rich flora and fauna and full of all sorts of weird, wonderful creatures.
Absolutely.
And then when Eldar Society was destroyed in the fall, the Exodites were one of the few remaining bits that were left. Now, in the 41st millennium, they have these pockets of idyllic beautifulness across Warhammer 40,000. Obviously, this being Warhammer 40,000, if you've got something lovely, everyone wants to knock it over and invade it.
There's probably a war coming.
There's always a war coming.
Nice.
So whenever their planets are invaded, they have to defend them with whatever tools they can find available. And the closest thing available is giant reptilian beasts that they can ride into battle.
Should we have a look at the model?
Does this mean we can use them in 40K? Probably in the
here we
Eldar
go. These are the
Eldar army
Exodite
lists.
Dragon
Yeah.
Masters. Eddie, this is a very unusual kill team, right?
Yeah, so this is a kill team first and foremost. It is really kind of weird but really fun, unusual kill team. It is effectively 3 models and 2 little hangers on, so it's immediately very, very elite. In terms of how it plays in kill team,
They look
plays
really
in a
good, though.
interesting and unique and unusual way. All of your units have APL 4, which is wild.
Yeah, absolutely.
In kill team, so you can do all sorts of cool maneuvers. They are very, very fast, as you would imagine, faster than almost anything else in kill team. They can leap up across bits of terrain. So if you think that your sniper at the back of the battlefield is nice and safe, perched on his ruin, think again, because a giant reptilian with an Eldari warrior on the back is racing towards you, ready to chop your head off. You have 3 very different kinds of characters in there. Effectively, you've got a warrior archetype, a mage archetype, and a sniper archetype, and they all do very different things weapons for your kill team.
Yeah, so here on the screen you can see the 3 different ones laid out. Essentially, you have the Clan Blade, which is the close combat one. You have the Ley Stalker, which is the one with the sniper rifle, and then you have the Stone Singer, which is the Exodite who focuses on using psychic powers. And then they also have these little beasts that run around with them, and those are called Dracolites.
Yeah, and they look familiar to, if you know kind of how Eldar Craft World work. There's a little bit of the Autarch to this one. There's a little bit of the Farseer to this one. There's a little bit of the kind of Ranger. So they have a kind of common ancestry with the Eldar of the Craft Worlds, but they have gone off in a slightly different sort of.
You wonder if there's a proto test for the waters of Exodites can be
they ride on the back of these cool reptiles.
fletched into a full faction if it sells.
A really fun.
I don't think they'll ever make Exodites a full faction.
I think probably going to be a very popular kill team as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not the only thing you get in this.
Yeah, they're
box.
40k
You've also
wood
got
elves.
A bunch of orcs in here. The way that the orcs work in this kill team is a little bit like the Red Terror set that we had recently.
Okay, they're
where they are
beast
effectively,
snaggers.
non-player operatives, and
We've already got
you
these.
You can play a bunch of different games against these, either as a 1-player or a 2-player series. There is a campaign in the box which tells the story of an orc war which has landed on this planet.
With the Imperial
orcs,
players,
who
not
are
to
beast
mention
snaggers,
Xenos
basically
players,
find
been
a
begging
world
for
full of monsters,
Exodites
and they're
line.
this is a paradise.
Just give the
Look at
Eldar
all
some
these things.
flavor.
Look at all these
Yeah,
giant beasts we
exactly.
can hunt. The Eldar are obviously much less keen on that than the orcs.
Exactly.
And they have to try and drive off the
Everyone's
orcs
been
to play
asking for
through the campaign.
Exodites for a long
Also, of
time
course,
now.
All the stuff in this box you can also use in Warhammer 40,000 as well.
Yeah, just to give a shout out to that Kill Team Exodite book, it's really cool. I got to have a look through it the other day. It's got great lore in it. There's stories from the perspective of the Eldari Exodites. There's also, like that campaign has some great missions in it. There's guides on how to set up make your battlefield to look like a maiden world. It's a wonderful book. They've done an amazing job sort of bringing this to life.
Yeah.
I wonder how they're going to work in
One of
40k
the other
though.
ways that you can build up the kill team that you get in this set is as another unit, which is called the Dragon Knights. These are the archetypal, I suppose, the closest thing we've got to the classic version of an Exodite. Very reminiscent of some of the very cool Warhammer 40,000 art from some of the early editions. This is effectively a fast cavalry unit of Exodites riding on those huge reptilian beasts. And they work a little bit in game, I suppose, like your Shining Spears, where they could charge in. They actually have laser lances, which is the same weapon that Shining Spears have. So they punch pretty hard, but as well as the rider on the back fighting,
You've
who's a good
also
fighter.
got a crazed reptile beast helping you fight, right?
Absolutely. So they hit really, really hard.
So this might make a couple of units.
Durable, they're a little bit more durable than some of the other kind of combat units.
Now you know Phil Kelly is doing work. Yes, Avernus, exactly. This is like a Phil. This is a Phil Kelly idea right here.
Battlefields and Eldar armies quite soon. The
fucking
other,
Gav
forces
Thorpe
in
would
this box,
never.
the Dragon Masters, you can also use in Warhammer 40,000, and the way that they work is that each one is effectively an individual character in your Eldari army.
I called it,
kind of
and that's what I thought it was going to happen.
You've got your fast-moving hero. You've got a kind of boss
So-
support piece. So effectively, this one kill team provides you with 4 different data sheets. For
Yeah,
Warhammer
the
40,000
okay,
Eldari
so
armies. It's a really flexible little.
the cavalry unit, the caster, the sniper, and the warrior are all 3 different units in 40k.
And the 2
So it's like one kit builds 4 units.
These models will be available separately.
That is
down the line, so if you want
a
to put
great
loads
idea.
into
Like
your,
unironically,
completely
that's
legit. There are
4
loads of reasons
units
that Eldari
for
force might
Exodites from
Exodites
one
in as well.
kit.
When you look at the
That is
history of the
actually
Eldari,
really
The
good.
Craftworld Biel-Tan is so affronted at the state of the Maiden Worlds that they aggressively defend Maiden Worlds from any interference. Obviously, Alitok is known for the Rangers who travel around the webway and they visit all the Maiden Worlds on a regular basis.
It's one of the main reasons.
Yeah, like I said, it looks like 3 special characters and 1 mounted cavalry unit.
Cultural association with these planets, and whenever anyone invades, it's almost like it's sacrilegious, right?
Yeah, sort of protecting the last true
absolutely,
ancient
yeah,
Eldari,
yeah.
really.
Eldar fans got a rare win. Yeah, this is a huge win,
Craftworld
honestly,
supply
for
off,
Eldar fans.
planets
I'm really
constantly,
happy
so
for
when
you
Europe goes up and
guys.
decides to
Now, if
build
only you could get
a
someone other than
forward
Gav
wonderful
Thorpe to write
paradise
craft
world,
worlds, you'd be
Yeah,
safe.
absolutely. It's worth having a little look at the models, I think. So here we have a stunt beast snagger sort of drafted in to pose.
They look
and then
good,
you can get a
too.
sense
Like,
of
those are
scale
good-looking
between
models.
when
Look
you
at
put the Exodite up alongside.
They're just Dino Riders.
The beasts look really
Dino
nice.
Riders are
They're
awesome.
still an impressive size model, and I think they're going to be quite popular with people who want to do just beautiful paint jobs, right? They're going to lend themselves really towards that.
Yeah, I mean the models are beautiful. Like I think I really like the leader
That's
unit
in particular. That
yeah,
one, isn't
the
it? Let's get
leader
this one
of
out.
the
Sorry, buddy.
Dragon Knights is just a really, really excellent miniature. I think just the kind of straight on pose for him. I'd be amazed if we don't see a few of those at Golden Demons and things. He's got that beautiful back banner, obviously, which is lending itself to kind of whatever showing off painting scheme you'd like to have a go at. The reptiles they're riding themselves, you could paint in almost any color you can imagine, right? The heavy metal team here has gone for some really cool, vivid color schemes. You could have.
Well, of course, there's a
anything in your
tactical
paint
rock.
collection you could paint. I
Everything
think
needs to
they're
have a
gonna be,
tactical rock
joy
these
to paint,
days.
and I can't wait to see them on the battlefield.
Absolutely. As I said before, like, who had Exodus on their 2026 Warhammer bingo?
I think at least 3 people guessed
Well,
when we posted it.
you get to
well
give yourself
done
a
you
little
if you
stamp.
guessed
Well
Exodus,
played.
yeah.
I'm delighted. They've existed in the lore for such a long time, and it's really exciting to see them
Yep.
like on the tabletop in this way before. This is the first time we've ever seen Exodites in plastic, and kind of the first time really we've seen them properly.
I think there was like one little.
Just
shred
imagine Master
of-
Chief saying, "I
One
like
of the
dinosaur." Yeah,
Corsairs,
basically,
maybe a
basically.
Little one for Epic
Oh, yeah, maybe,
back
yeah.
in the day. And other than that, they've existed in the stories and in some scattered pieces of artwork. So what a happy time. We're very excited. And also the love and passion that spilled out of the Warhammer studio as they told us about them was just infectious. So hopefully you're as excited about these as we are, because they're very exciting. What else is there to say? We have come to the end of our
That was a lot of
preview.
stuff, Adam.
It was a lot of stuff, and we said it would be about 90 minutes, and we're very, very nearly there. So thank you if you are still with us and enjoying.
All right, looks like that's everything.
Lovely to have you with us. I should round up. There have been a couple of questions floating around. One of them I can field right now. Somebody asked in the chat, what's the cost to the Warhammer Academy? The cost is nothing. It is free. You'll need to log in and sign up, but it is designed to help you just get started with your Warhammer journey. So it doesn't cost anything. Just join in and start
Free?
learning about Warhammer and
Doubt.
honing your skills and gaining
I doubt.
confidence as you
Big
do so.
doubt.
If you've got more questions, well, we've got good news. A few weeks back, Eddie and I did a Q&A, and we had a nice time doing it. So we're going to do another one in a couple of weeks. So here is an email address appearing mystically on your screen. Quanda, that is Q&A at preview.warhammer.com. That is where you can start sending your questions. Hopefully,
They're still not happy Duncan quit. Oh, they'll never be happy Duncan quit.
I mean, you can send in.
And now starting his own minis company.
I have very few specialist subjects, and most of them revolve around Warhammer. So, yeah, please do send us Warhammer questions to that Q&A in a couple of weeks' time. We'll let you know closer to when it's going to be. We'll go through those questions. We'll pick the best ones, and we'll sit down and have a little session where we read through them all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. I guess all that remains then is thank you, everybody, for coming and joining in this preview and spending some time with us. Thank you.
Bernie quit because they started going after GW employees who are doing YouTube stuff in their spare time. That wouldn't surprise me at all, McKentrell.
In that case,
that wouldn't surprise me at
we'll
all.
see you again very soon. Good night.
Oh, there we go. It's over. Oh, yeah. So, you know, I'm not going to lie. It was a good preview show, but it's all kind of undercut by the fact that Games Workshop went after, you know, another fan community again. You know, they went after the fans again, so it kind of undercuts it all. Would have been at least a 8 out of 10 preview show, but with what happened last night, bump it down to a 4. Pretty much saved only by the nice models. The nice models and more Custodes models that suspiciously lack women because, you know, they know they can't sell that shit. They know now. He was breaking down in tears in his goodbye vid, if I remember correctly, because did it because it was doing better than the official painting tutorials. That doesn't surprise me. Right, so yeah, that's the preview show, everyone. Let's move back to here. I will say the Exodites, good on them doing the Exodites, but yeah, it's like I said, the whole feeling of the preview show brought down by what happened yesterday. Like, I'm sorry, GW, but that's just how it is, all right? You can't expect fans to be happy with this bullshit. Like, you just can't. Like, yeah, you had a nice show, but so what? After what you did earlier, who'd have rumored GW might be thinking of doing their own TTS and buying the TTS company? I don't think they'll buy the Tabletop Simulator company. I think within 3 months, they will announce their own version. What did you miss? You missed Kill Team. It's Exodites. Hold on. One moment, one moment. Posting a reaction to something on Twitter. One moment. I keep spelling Gaffthorpe, Gaffthrope. I hate it. I'm so used to calling. I'm so used to fucking Tyranids. There we go. Battle sector wasn't enough, you suppose? Well, you know Games Workshop, they can't tolerate fans having control of anything. You know how it is. The McCollison's 5th edition for GW make a TTS style thing. Someone else makes it and GW smashes them from on high. Just a gross company. Yeah, they really are. Gotta go, have a nice day. Yeah, later, Nova. But yeah, no, like I said, not a bad show. Not a bad show. Objectively a good showing. Brought low by the whole TTS thing. Actual bullshit. Actual fucking bullshit. My God. I mean, I like the stuff that's coming, but I can't in good conscience give Games Workshop a good review on the back of what they did today. I really can't. And you know, it's really a shame. Actually, just a shame. What's the TTS thing? They had Steam. Okay, we talked about this earlier in the stream. They forced Steam to take the Tabletop Simulator 40K mods off of the Steam Workshop. They're still available from other sources, but unfortunately, you can't get them from the workshop anymore. They've had to go underground with it. There's still people still playing 40K on Tabletop Sim, but you can't get the mods anymore. All right. Alrighty. Okay, everyone hang on. That's it for the stream. I know who I'm rating. One moment. I'm rating onto Scuff. She's playing Darktide right now. So yeah, everyone, hope you have a good day. Thanks for sticking around and watching. I will catch you all probably tomorrow. I'm gonna be playing potentially Monster Hunter, potentially something else. You know, look forward to that. Catch y'all later. Have a good day. And yeah, take care, everyone. Later.